This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. Everybody's like, oh my god, Lisa Marie Presley died! Oh my god! She was one of my favorite people in the world! She was the greatest! Oh wait, she was the daughter of Elvis, yeah. I mean, it sucks that she died, but I mean, what makes it different to you guys? I don't really understand that part. What makes her different than somebody else dying? Like some other, just, you know, like Diamond and Silk, one of those two people died, man. What about those people? Great. I mean, Elvis was great and everything like that, but did any of you really sit around and follow? You know, I mean, it sucks, you know. But it's just weird how people are just so, like, they want to interrupt the show and be talking about it like it's just some earth-shattering event. Weird. Yeah, she's only 54, yeah. But it's just... Well, one of the sisters, anyways. I mean, so what about her age? You know? None of you talked about her at all in the last 5 years, okay? Yeah, she died of grief. Where'd you get that from, Sandra? I'm just telling you the truth, right? I mean, it sucks that she died, but I mean, it's just sort of like none of you really talked about her or cared really anything about her at all for 5 or 10 years, at least, maybe 20. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God! I want everybody to know how much I don't know. I'm not doing too bad. Not doing too bad at all. Yeah, that was a cool show. I think, I mean, Sarah, I mean, I love talking to her because it's just, like, we're just going back and forth, like regular people, if you were sitting around at a bar talking about something. You know, that's what I like about it. Oh, and I'm going to have, I'm actually going to have another guest on, you guys. It's going to be Mike King from Profiling Evil. And then I might go on his show. You know, he emailed me a while back, and then I couldn't make it on, so I said, hey, you still interested? So I think it'd be cool to have him on. I actually respect him, you know, over time. At first I wasn't really sure, but like he seems to be really, like he's pretty legitimate. I mean, he is legitimate, the way he talks about cases and covers them and everything like that, so there you go. Might be Saturday. Yep. And boy, those Reddit morons are sure on the... They are just absolutely going after me now. Apparently I have a scheme on my channel here. It's a scheme. That people send in super chats and everything because I make them, basically. I pressure and all this stuff. Look, I do bring it up. You know, nobody has to do anything. I just say, hey, everybody... Yes, tonight's a little slower than normal because I'm trying to... I want to make money for my channel, and I want to make money for the charities that I support. And if it's not the way you like it, I'm sorry. But, you know, like on the last show, whenever I have guests on, the super chats and everything, they're not anywhere near the regular shows. I'm not sure why or what the reason is or whatever. But You know, I don't have a scheme. I just have my show. And I realized that you have to actually ask for super chats because people just don't send them in. All right? I mean, like some people do. They just go, hey, here you go. But a lot of people aren't thinking about it and they aren't really realizing what you're trying to do on a channel, so they don't send them in. And what I do is I do my show. I spend 7 or 8 hours a day doing my show and getting ready for the show. And so therefore, I don't think it's unreasonable to want to be compensated. But because I actually have another job, I donate a huge portion of the YouTube money, but I have to have some of it to, pay for things that I want to do, I mean, so what? I mean, I don't understand people. It's bizarre almost. But they don't care. Even though I just said what I said, they won't hear any of it. They don't care that I just said what I just said.
Gray made me do it. Crying face.
Cairo, I'm sorry, man. The obligatory super chat. Gray made me do it. Oh, look at that. Kelsey, sorry about that. Wow. Yeah. And thank you, Annabelle Stealth, and Trish Escaped, and B. Tim, and Nicole. Sorry for making you do that. Really apologize.
He made me. JK.
Nah, you kind of do, because there's people, there's this whole group of people that brains don't work well. They go, I can't stand Gray because he keeps saying that he thinks that maybe Zayna and Ethan were killed first.
Cool face.
What do you mean you can't stand me? Because I think that's possible. Possibly what happened. Really, really. And then they're watching right now. One of them was like, he must not have a personality because he keeps saying the same stories over and over and over again. It's like, those are all jokes that are part of the channel now. People go, Gray, tell the one about the... I could tell you a million other ones. Nobody comes on here and goes, Gray, tell me about this, tell me about that. Yeah. Hey, thanks. The Mike D Experience. Oh, and Tracy A. And I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't mean to force you to send in the super chats. I apologize. I really do. But I'm actually really proud of what we do. So, I mean, here's the thing. If I made $150,000 on YouTube gross, then after taxes, that'd be about 110 or 115, right? And then if I donated 62,000 of the 115, that would be 120. That'd be over 50% of the net revenue, right? But they're on Reddit saying that I make like $400,000 a year. It's just it's ludicrous. Right? Makes me want to like, I don't know. It's just ugh. Yeah. And well, one of the reasons I'm suggesting that Zayna and Ethan were killed first is because of that email that I got. How it was like he was on his way out. So was he on his way out after the killer was coming downstairs? So I mean, I guess the scenario could easily be something like Zayna gets the DoorDash, goes into the kitchen, brings it back to the room. Just after that, the killer comes through the sliding glass door, perhaps even waiting for Zayna to leave the kitchen. Then he heads upstairs. And then maybe Zayna or somebody heard somebody up there, some rustling going on. Hey, I think somebody's here. Maybe heard a male's voice upstairs or something. Then they eat the food. She's on TikTok. And then Ethan is about to leave the door as the killer is coming down at maybe 12 after. And boom, he attacks them. And eventually you hear their voices and, like that. That's a scenario that works, right? The problem is you got to make the scenario work on all elements. And another issue is that some of the time is not known. And so thank you up there to Norm Scanlon. Thanks for me forcing you, and Candace Hill and Tracy, yeah, everybody else up there. Let me see. What was the next part I was gonna? Oh yeah, there was a couple articles that came out that were sort of interesting, like this one. But man, didn't you guys think that was interesting? I thought it was interesting how, I mean, I keep saying interesting, but it was interesting how she was, the pet. And I have to be honest, the dog being killed made a little bit more, became more relevant after the probable cause document. And knowing that he was in town, the timing of it, wouldn't that be interesting if that really was connected somehow? I guess that's the term to use. Interesting. Thanks, Loretta Reyes and Kelsey206. Geez, Gray, stop twisting my arm. Yeah, the way she talked about the dog, wasn't that amazing? Simple Life Days. She explained it so well where you just go, God, I can see that. Oh, hey, Cairo, are you still here? Are you still here, Cairo? Put a 1 in there. I want to make sure you can hear this. And a 5, and a 4, and a 3, and a 2, and a 1. I got some breaking news. All right, so when I was talking to Cairo, and he was talking to me about how the... well, let me show you on the screen here just a second. Jack in the Box, Pullman. Just a second. I got it right here. There it is. Let me get the other screen here. All right, so this is for the DoorDash. See how on the screen here it says 6 to 10, 6 to 10, 6 to 10, and then Wednesday, well, actually on Saturday. See, that one's not right here. There was another website that had the more accurate version. It's not 6 to 10. Was it this one? Yeah, this I think it was this one. Gosh darn it. Is it that one? No. Crap. Now I don't even know where the hell I was reading it to him. But they had the time where it was Sunday mornings. It opened at 4 a.m. Okay, and I was thinking, well, if it opens at 4, how would he be able to buy something at 4 and get to the house in 15 minutes? So what I did was I actually called over there, and a guy answered, and he goes, yeah, I don't know what they have on the website, but here's how it works. We shut down every day at 4 in the morning and clean things. And then I said, so if somebody showed up at 3:45 to buy something, they'd be able to buy it. He goes, yeah, we just shut it down at 4 to 5 every single day. So can I get a boom? So now we know that he could have bought something at 3:45 and then got there by 4. But if it opened at 4, that wouldn't make any sense at all. It'd be 4:15 or 4. It'd be like the same time that Xena was on TikTok. Yeah. Hey, you like that? DSK1317? I mean, that's how I do most of my interviews. I just have a couple things to talk about, but I like a more free-flowing form where you just talk and, just wherever the wind blows type of thing. So, I don't know what I was looking at, though, earlier, where it had these specific... It seemed like it might have been over here. It's strange how I can't find that same page. It looked just like the one I was looking at, though. Yeah, there you go. Like, look at this one here. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of small, but Wednesday, and then Friday, 6 to 4 a.m. Saturday, 12 a.m. to 12 a.m., but then Sunday morning it opens up at 4, it said on here, so I thought, okay, that's close. And so I wanted to call over there and I said, listen, you guys open up at 4 on Sunday. If somebody came there at 3:45, would you still give them something? And he goes, well, we don't do it that way. I don't know what it says on the website there, but we close it down at 4 every day and clean. And then I said, okay, cool. So if somebody got there at 3:45, they'd be able to get it. And he goes, oh, yeah. And so then that would make sense because it's, 10 to 15 minute drive from Pullman to Moscow. All right. So there we go, everybody. There's no more questions about that. It's just is what it is. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting, right, Cairo? Yeah, because you did have a good point there. Especially when the original one said, like, it closed at 12 every single night. That was getting kind of, precarious. Like, oh, well, how would that even work? Maybe that is an old one. But now we know that DoorDash really could have been delivered that night. Breaking news, everybody. Well, Gray, this other guy brought that up last week. Okay, great. I don't watch the other guy, whoever you're talking about. Okay, let's get to this article though. So here we go. Exclusive. Girls made fun of him. Middle school. Former cheerleader. I mean, just give me a violin, okay? Who rejected Brian Kohberger's advances in 6th grade is interviewed by FBI as classmates reveal how the chubby misfit was bullied and tortured by popular clique. I don't know. I agree with what Sarah was saying about it. I think because there's other stories out there that say he bullied people. I saw that. FBI agents have interviewed Brian Kohberger's middle school crush in hopes of piecing together the psyche of the man they believe is responsible for the gruesome murders of 4 Idaho college students. Kim Kennelly, 27, contacted the Bureau shortly after learning her former classmate had been arrested for allegedly knifing 4 housemates to death at a university just 15 minutes from where he was studying in November. Let's see. The 2 were 6th grade students at Pleasant Valley Intermediate School in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania, when Kohberger, 28, developed a crush and began romantically pursuing the girl who would go on to be a high school cheerleader. She told the FBI whatever she could tell them. Kennelly's mother, Sandra, confirmed to DailyMail.com. It was so long ago, I couldn't imagine what she had to tell the FBI. I guess it was for character purpose. So that's him right there. He looks totally different. I mean, you'd almost wouldn't even be able to tell that was him if somebody said, oh yeah, that's Brian Kohberger right there. Kohberger, then a chubby, awkward misfit, a guy that says lizard eye often. Yeah, I think what Sarah Cailean was calling me was an incel. Okay, and it's unfortunate that I thought that was a good time to bring up the lizard eye comment, but I think Dennis Stewart was absolutely correct that oh, that was pretty funny. Let's see. He would always say, oh, Kim, I think you're very pretty. Just like weird comments. Is that weird? No? God, at least he didn't say what I said. And she said, oh my God, leave me alone. She did not give him the time of day, the mom noted. When kids are little, they're mean. They don't say, oh my God, thank you. But no. Kennelly would eventually tell Kohberger to buzz off, breaking his heart. So is she trying to claim that she is responsible for the making Kohberger the way he is? At the time, Kennelly would eventually tell Kohberger to buzz off, breaking his heart. At the time, she lived in Scotia or something, Sciota or something, in rural eastern Pennsylvania, 90 miles north of Philadelphia, and a 30-minute drive from Kohberger's home in Albrightsville. She has since left the area and lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, where she works as an occupational therapist at an assisted living home. By the way, everybody, hit that subscribe button really quick. Get us to 104,000. That'd be pretty sweet, right? And make sure to hit that like button. On the last show, we were sure lacking in that. You'd think that show would have had a like per person who watched. But unfortunately, there's a lot of trolls out there that won't like the button, even if I had Gandhi on the show. She has since left the area and lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, there's a picture of him right there. Oh, what's that one? In the yearbook photo, Kohberger captain said he aspired to be an Army Ranger. Previously overweight and bullied, he lost 100 pounds and transformed into a totally different person. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Welcome, Kenneth Colton. Well, thanks for letting me know, Kay Janet. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and there was a press conference today. I guess we could play that really quick. Is it this one? Yeah. Apparently they pushed back his preliminary hearing to June. It's crazy. It's not a press conference, a court hearing. It's only 6 minutes.
Right, good morning. We are on the record. This is the State of Idaho versus Brian Kohberger. Mr. Kohberger is in custody. He is appearing here in court with his attorneys.
Could you guys see that little hand moving up the audio there? That was actually the recording, not me just now doing that.
Ms. Taylor, Mr. Logston.
Oh, did it cut out again? Oh, I think I started over again. Come on.
Right, good morning. We are on the record. This is cause number CR 29222.
Yeah, he cut his face shaving in the morning.
Versus Brian Kohberger.
Don't you think that's more
Kohberger
obvious?
Is in custody. He is appearing here in court with his attorneys, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Logston, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings, appearing on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the
That's
matter
exactly where
for
you
the
cut yourself when you
preliminary
shave,
hearing
right
status
there.
conference. So I am going to inquire of counsel. Ms. Taylor, what's the status at this time?
Thank you, Your Honor. We are going to ask the court to set preliminary hearing out into June. We would request the 3rd or 4th week
That's
of
right,
June.
Basby.
and probably 4 or
Look at
5
that!
days.
Look at the cuts on his face!
Mr. Kohberger understands his right to a timely preliminary.
Let me just say this. What if he did scratch his face? What difference does it make? I mean, are people like sleuthing out that he has got a scratch on his face? What do you get from, like, let's say he really did scratch his face. So what?
hearing, and he's willing to waive the timeliness to allow us time to obtain discovery in this case and be prepared.
And
Now
Mr.
that's because
Thompson,
I'm
are you
using a
agreeing with that?
blurry version of
The
the
state
video.
has no objection to that, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor reached out to us by email yesterday with her.
No, he wasn't,
proposal.
though.
On reflection,
Chani 142.
state's calendar
Whatever the
would
hell
be
you
better
want.
in the month of July, but we will make the end of June work if that's the court's preference. And I haven't had a chance to talk to Ms. Taylor about that. I'm sorry, I know that's last minute.
That's okay. The court's calendar is going to be better towards the end of June, early July. So would that work, Ms. Taylor, for your scheduling on your other matters?
Your Honor, yes, if we take that 4th week in June, that's actually best.
Seems like such a long
So,
time.
Mr.
man.
Kohberger, I need to speak to you for a moment then. Sir, you do understand, and Ms. Taylor has represented here, that she's advised you of your right to have, or fully discussed with you,
I
the
don't
right
have
that
any animosity whatsoever towards this lady right here. I hope people don't start going, oh, look at that, you know, and start. That's what happens in every case. Whenever the person arrested is a loathsome individual, just a horrible human being, the defense attorney gets just crushed by all the people who, if they were attorney, would have turned it down because they're so much better than they are.
you have, which is to have your preliminary hearing within 14 days of the date that you initially.
I think you can
appeared before this
criticize
court.
things that she tries
As
to
you
sell
recall, when I
on behalf
advised
of
you
her
your
client.
rights, that hearing is a probable cause hearing where the state has to establish that more likely than not, these felony offenses were committed and you were the one that committed the felony offenses. If you waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing, it does not mean that you're giving up your right to have a preliminary hearing. It simply means that you would not be able to come back and challenge that the state did not present
Thanks,
probable
reviewed
cause
popcorn.
within 14 days. Do you understand?
Yes.
Have you had enough time to speak with Ms. Taylor about your decision to waive your right to a speedy preliminary hearing?
Yes.
Has anybody compared that voice to voices people think sound like him? That call, remember the guy on TikTok or whatever that made the video?
Need any additional time to do so?
No.
Then I will ask at this time, as to the 5 counts, felony counts that were charged in the criminal complaint that was filed on December 29th of 2022, are you waiving your right to a speedy preliminary hearing and agreeing that that hearing can be held outside the 14-day period?
Yes.
And Ms. Taylor, do you concur with his waiver?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
I will find your waiver of speedy preliminary hearing is knowing, intelligently, voluntarily entered here in open court with the assistance of counsel. We will go ahead and set the matter for a preliminary hearing.
He's got like this little thing here, and there's a little one right
Monday,
there. It's clear.
June
The video that I'm
20th.
playing isn't very clear, but there is like a scratch there and one here. It's just, I mean, just look where the scratches are. Does that look like a fight somebody got in? Doesn't it look more just like he cut himself shaving? Isn't that more likely that he's got a court hearing, so in the morning he was given the opportunity to shave, you know, maybe even under supervision. He might have cut himself a little bit, you know. I mean, it just seems to make more sense.
6.
And either way, who cares how he got those? Focus on the
9
parts
o'clock
that
a.m.
matter. Well, Gray was a serial killer inmate there that
And
knew
I
that he
will
was
go
copying
ahead and
his.
reserve the week, so June 26th to June 30th, in the event that we need all 5 days for presentation of
His
evidence.
back looks weird because he's hunched over, and that's probably like, you know.
And just so council
blade
knows,
there.
it will begin at 9 a.m. each of those days. Is there anything further to address at this time in the case, Mr. Thompson?
Not from the state's perspective, Your Honor, no.
All right, or Ms. Taylor?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Kohberger, then you will be remanded into custody.
Yeah,
on your
because
staying
they don't want him to
bail
wear
At
handcuffs.
this point in time.
They put him back on
Any
when he's
further
leaving.
Proceedings, again, we'll send notice out to council, and we will be in recess for this morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yeah, they have rules out there. They don't want people's vision, you know, their sight of him to be in cuffs because it already implies guilt. You know, you would think the orange jumpsuit would already be doing that too. So maybe they could put a blue one on him. You know, perhaps even pink. Yeah, well, that wouldn't make any sense, would it, Amanda? Because the murders were a month and a half ago. There isn't going to be a little scratch on his face. And the scratches weren't there on other court appearances. So, but thank you, Amanda Johnson. There you go. That was it. Let's see. He has been charged with a brutal case. The whole clique of popular girls made fun of him in school. They were the cheerleaders and the ones that every kid had crushes on. Another classmate who did not wish to be identified told Daily Mail. They literally tortured him. Girls started making fun of him in middle school. But Kohberger seemed to turn his life around in high school, where he took up boxing and lost weight. He was a totally different person. He worked out constantly and was super aggressive, the male friend said. He had a short fuse and was constantly trying to change his style and personality to fit in with cliques. Yeah, a little bit like the Brady Bunch. You guys remember that?
Their leftover from the struggle during the murders. Woman shrugging.
I do repeat stories all the time because they're perfect stories for these types of things. You know, like the Peter Brady pork chops and applesauce. See? When he didn't know how to be, like he didn't think people liked him. So he thought, you know who I'm going to be? I'm going to be Humphrey Bogart, right? Which was one of the most embarrassing episodes that's ever been on television. And then he goes into...
Chewbacca?
Hey, Alice.
Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
What's for dinner? Well, we're having pork chops and applesauce. Pork chops and applesauce, see? Oh, God. And then his parents come home right after that, and he greets them with that same god-awful voice, right? So maybe Peter Brady's a good example of what this guy was going through, right? Thank you, heart-shaped box, and I know that the Redditards, yeah, that's a perfect term, Redditards. There really are some of the dumbest people on the planet that congregate there. It's a home for them, though. So let's not feel sorry for them. At least those people on Reddit have a place to be amongst peers of theirs. Really, really dumb people. And that's okay. That's okay. How dare you, Gray? They have a right to their... Yes, they do have a right to their opinion. They sure do. Yes, right. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Sha-na-na-na-na. Because it's time to change. Right? That was the name of the song. Right, Jenny Penny? The song was Time to Change. That was the best, man. Come on, you guys all know this stuff, right? You guys, I mean, come on. That's right, Brady Bunch. Yep, awesome. Hey, thanks for joining. Yeah, that's basically what it is. You go over there and I read it, and everything that they say, I have the actual answer, but none of them want to hear it. Like, they don't think I actually have a regular job, but they want me to tell them the name of the, the place that I work. And why would I do that? Yeah, these people are sick people. Hey, cool. Thanks for gifting a membership there, Lane Dune. I think that's what I'm going to do tonight. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to donate 5 more memberships from all the the super chats instead of giving out a mug or something. Do 5 more memberships. What do you guys think of that? Well, because it's they show up in searches, Miranda. I mean, I actually had a friend go, God, Gray, no wonder you don't like those Reddit people. I was reading this thing. So that's why. Does that make sense to you? Or nothing really seems to make sense to you, though, whenever I say anything. Let's see. The banana splits, huh? Lane Dune. I would totally rock, Ray. Hope I get one. Yep. Well, there's going to be no Tumblr tonight. Tonight's not one of the incredible nights where you go, oh my God, I got to give some big prizes out. You know, it isn't one of those. Hasn't been one of those for a few days. But you never know, man. Things could turn around. I don't know, Hermit. I didn't even look at her, perceiving that she might have nice birthing hips. I mean, what a ridiculous comment that somebody could make to somebody. Boy, you sure have nice birthing hips. Gray, you said the same thing last night. I know, but we're still talking about it today. When it's time to change, you got to rearrange, right? Who you are and what you're gonna do. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Sha-na-na-na-na. Hey, rewrite the song, man. We'll have him jump in there. Man, look at that. 8675309 actually remembers the words to it. I mean, I do too, but I'm not going to sing it to you. You get it? You might do this one, though. Where is it?
Hey, Allah, hey, Allah.
Oh, yeah, everybody. Just hold hands. Everything will be fine. A third former classmate added, it's interesting to me that the girls he's accused of killing were nice looking and seemingly popular, much like the ones that made fun of him throughout his childhood. His theory backed that of former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, boy. How many theories? I mean, she's almost like a psychic out there.
When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange who you are and what you're going to be.
I think a lot of us have talked about the incel theory. Did you hear that? The reading of that by the... Wait, maybe Mary Lou can do it.
When it's time to change, you got to rearrange who you are and what you gonna be. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Sha-na-na-na-na.
Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Sha-na-na-na-na.
There we go. Boom!
That was it, man. Right? Come on. That was it. Mary Lou nailed it, man. She sounded just like the song, right? Even with the pitch and everything. Right? Yes, on this channel, we make people laugh sometimes. That's just the way it is, all right? That was pretty good. Thanks for the lyrics, too, 8675309. Yeah. Well, Mag, I brought up the, this incel here, much like Peter Brady on Brady Bunch. He needed to change his personality. So then after I said that, 8675309 typed in the lyrics to Time to Change by the Brady Bunch. And then she put the lyrics in, and Mary Lou jumped in and sang the words. Yeah, wow. Hey, thanks, Kevin Schultz. All right, let me gotta do something here. Where was that? Birthing unit. That wasn't too bad, was it? I almost want to hit the rewind button and go listen to that. Yeah, it should have been more like another voice did the I think Peter tries to say Chime to Change too once too, right? His voice cracks on that one. There we go. I was trying to run a report over there. Oh wait, forget it. I don't have another job. Never mind. What's this one say? Here's exactly what I was thinking. Gray cuts on his face. Gray. Here's what I was thinking. Gray cuts on his face. Oh my God! And my dog shit outside. That's breaking news. Okay. Wow. How come, Picker X? Well, at least I did it, man. I had the guts to, or idiocy, to sing that song. Either absolutely, I'm sure if my brother happened to be listening, he'd go, I remember that one. And so would every one of my classmate friends who might randomly be watching. Some actually admitted they are watching my show currently, mainly because of the case. Right, Dave? I know you're watching, man. You're right there. You know the guys that were on the video from Beach Fest? Yeah, I did too. I liked that one too. Remember they were the silver platters. You know, they tried to... It was kind of a cool episode because the parents got all pissed off, and then they felt really guilty for being pissed off because the kids did what they did so that they could buy them their anniversary silver platter. They got second place though. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Tosh.
Marcio, hand over mouth, smiley face.
Thanks, Pam Cakes. It's Marcia. Streamlabs. It's not Markia, whatever the hell you were saying. And thank you up there, Kathy Shiflet. Well, hold on a second. Just a second. No? I thought it buzzed in. Yeah, where is Lillian right now? I was trying to let me go check. I tried. I think I messaged her the other day. I don't remember. Hope she's okay. Oh, is she in here?
Hello, Dave. Eyes.
Oh, yeah, she hasn't been in here for a couple days. Yeah. I did like you know the episode I really liked the most? It was the one that I really thought, okay, that's cool. It's when he taught Peter how to fight after he was bullied in school, and then he knocked the guy's tooth out. That's probably the only significant episode that actually had any real meaning whatsoever. The rest of them were embarrassing as hell. Right. What do you mean pork chops and applesauce? Well, it was a show though, Stereophonic Mom. So no, he didn't turn out like that. It was a television show, so it wasn't real life. And they also had a UFO episode. Oh yeah, the Bachelor one. Yeah, remember that upstairs? Yeah, that was a good one. I can't believe you used to watch that stuff. Brady Bunch must have been on for, God, I don't know, at least, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I would think. If not more. I'm just trying to remember, because then they kept going. Remember Oliver, that little kid showed up at one point, you know, add a little John Denver look-alike child. Oh yeah, that was a good one. The Hawaiian one with the tarantula. I remember that shit. That was awesome. Yeah, that really was a good. They go in those caves, and they had a little peaky character thing. It was like the bad omen is what created the tarantula. It was like a. Yeah, that was an awesome one. Yeah, that was great. Oh, so you watched like a whole rerun series. That's even crazier. That's awesome. Yeah, Taboo, right. You got to admit that kid did look like John Denver, right? What was his name? Let's just take a look at it. Watch. Oliver Brady Bunch. Watch this. Oh, oh my God! If you're not going to tell me that kid right there isn't a John Denver. Yeah, look. I mean, that's like his kid. Look at him. Hello. They're the same person. I mean, there's really no difference whatsoever. You got to admit, right? Been in some needy child to refresh feeling ratings. Yeah, exactly. It just, yeah. To me, it's a little bit like having the Ewoks in the third Star Wars. Just some sort of a gimmick. You know, the little bear, cute little creature thing. And the one where Mike was sneaking around on Carol. What he wasn't really. Remember the one that had the architecture designs that got lost by Peter or somebody? Yeah, I think it was, or Greg. And then he had to stay up and remake them. There was that one. And really hard-working people there. Just. And then Marcia got hit in the nose with a football that episode. But then Joe Namath shows up and saves the day. That's crazy. Joe Namath is still out there. And he's like doing well too. Yeah. And Sam the Butcher. Well, you know what? Let me ask you something. What was Sam the Butcher really? What was going on there with that guy? You know? I want to revisit those episodes. He really was, wasn't he? There was something a little off, as it were. Sarita said, don't go there. Okay, all right. Well, just with him, though, right? 8675309. I think there was an episode where she was going to leave and do something else or something, and then they convinced her to stay, or she came back. No, wasn't it? Or, yeah, somebody. She played like a cousin of herself, and took over, and she just wasn't anywhere as good as Alice was. Something like that. You remember that when she played both parts or something? That's what I vaguely remember. Yeah, she didn't feel appreciated. Yeah, I think they were dating, Cairo. Yeah. Yeah, she definitely seemed like she was a military person. Man, we're stuck on the Brady Bunch. This is awesome. Yep. It really was really good television back then. Mod Squad, that was awesome. Kolchak the Night Stalker. No, I never watched that one. Nikki Zibs. You can or can't, Shannon. Jan and her wig. Yeah. All right, I do have one other article here. Let's see where that one is. Forgot that one was about. Oh yeah, neighbor of Brian Kohberger says suspect talked about Idaho student murders. So that would be kind of creepy, wouldn't it, if you had talked to Brian Kohberger when he just seemed like a normal-ish person before the murder or after the murders, and then it turns out he's the murderer while you were talking about the murders with him. That would be pretty weird. A neighbor of Brian Kohberger in Pullman, Washington, said the suspect in the murder of 4 University of Idaho students spoke to him about the killings days after they occurred. The neighbor asked not to be identified. He brought it up in conversation. The neighbor exclusively told CBS News on Wednesday. He asked if I had heard about the murders, which I did, and then he said, yeah, seems like they have no leads. Seems like it was a crime of passion. You notice how I use the word seems like, you know. I wonder if, I mean, that's pretty weird. I mean, if you were the person who would talk to him, that would have been pretty wild. At the time of our conversation, it was only a few days after it happened, so there wasn't much details out. The search warrant of Kohberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington, has been temporarily sealed by Idaho judge. The judge said see, this was a weird. What do you guys make of this? The search warrant for Kohberger's apartment in Pullman. So that search warrant has been sealed. There must have been something in that. Temporarily sealed by Idaho judge. The judge said the details in the search warrant could prematurely end the investigation. What? And create a threat to public safety. What in the hell does that mean? Does anybody know what that means? Can anybody come up with any sort of a scenario what in the hell that means right there? I mean, that is insane. I'm going to send this over to Sarah and see what she thinks. All right. I mean, look at that. That the details in the search warrant itself would prematurely end the investigation. I mean, somebody must be misquoting something. And create a threat to public safety. How could a search warrant for him create a threat to public safety? No, what would that have to do with anything, Simple Life Days? He's been arrested. He's been arrested, so I have no idea what this means whatsoever, and, you know, I hope it's not just really, I mean, I hope it's really bad reporting and just written incorrectly there. That is a wow, just wow moment right there, right? I mean, what in the hell does that even mean? The search warrant for Kohberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington has been temporarily sealed by Idaho judge. The judge said that the details in the search warrant could prematurely end the investigation. So it would end the investigation into him. Oh, man. And create a threat to... This part, I don't understand at all. Create a threat to public safety. What in the hell does that mean? Well, it wouldn't matter though, right? Cat K. They're not releasing it now because it says that. I mean, when was this written? This article is from today. Yeah. Almost like they want people to speculate someone else. I know, it does have that feeling. Like, because remember he said, Kohberger, when he was arrested, said, did you arrest anybody else? And now they're saying that in the document, there's something in there that might create... But here's the thing, isn't there a threat to public safety by not arresting the person if there was one in the document? Why would merely the name of the person being put out there, if there is one, create a threat? Maybe it's more like, like a caged animal type thing. Anyways, let me open up the phone lines here. People can call in. There we go. Haven't done phone calls in a few days. So. It's a standard form. Oh, come on. Jeez. It said the judge said. They didn't say it was a standard form. That's like using the technique for... Sarah said she's not sure what that means. Yeah, she talked to you about it with somebody else. Thank you, Nicole. People are saying it's because he wasn't arrested. However, yeah, well, this is, however, it was because of that, then why is it still sealed? Right, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think it's probably been sealed ever since he was arrested, because nobody would have even known it existed, right? Chewbacca!
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
People are saying it's because he wasn't arrested. However, if it was because...
Ivan, we're not curious why it was sealed. It's the wording it was sealed. Nobody's confused, Ivan. Just nobody, but the part that doesn't make any sense, Ivan, which you should understand, is that it says, just by merely letting people see a sealed search warrant, it could prematurely end the investigation. That part does make it seem like he said this. Let's see. So this might have been sealed. If the wording is right after he was arrested, but they're still searching, or let's say when they arrest him in Pennsylvania, they didn't want anybody to find out about it, so it wouldn't end the investigation, because he could say, oh, and get a lawyer in there or something and stop the investigation. But it's the second part that makes no sense. It would create a threat to public safety. That doesn't make any sense at all, no matter how you look at it. The other one, you could make an argument like, okay, it was the timing of it, maybe the wording that we're seeing, and the comments by the judge are from a while ago. It's just now being reported on. But still, the second part makes no sense. All right, let me get the... You get what I'm saying? All right, here we go. 610.
Grey's Anatomy of a Crime Scene. What's up?
What's going on? Joey.
How you doing, brother? Yes, sir.
Yeah, not too bad.
Hey man, I don't know with this. Now though, if this is correct, I guess his defense attorney is going to try to jump all over that, huh?
Well, I'm not sure what that means. Yeah. Create a threat to public safety. How?
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe he had a list, maybe of potential other targets on there.
How about this?
Maybe
How about this? The first part is if they put out the information too soon, his lawyers might jump in and be able to stop them from going in and investigating. The second part is maybe there are explosives or something that they think might be at the property, and then people start running over there to start filming, and then, something could happen or something. What if it's something like that? And that, so if you put it out there and it says, oh yeah, there's explosives, there's this and that and the other thing, and we're heading over there, and then people run over there, and then something happens. That's about the only thing that even remotely makes sense in something like that.
Yeah, you're right. Because either that or like you said, he might have a phantom second suspect with him, or he might have mentioned something like that with a list or something. I don't know. You're right though. It's weird, man. It's probably wrong reporting in some fashion or exaggerated something.
Yeah, they do have quotes around it, but and it's CBS News. It's not like some crappy. I mean, I'm not saying they're all great, but CBS News has a little higher standard than Daily Mail, for example.
I guess in that aspect they do usually, but some other stuff.
Political, you can forget it. But
yeah, exactly, bro. Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. I caught the end of I guess she was a criminal forensic chick that you had on there. And I was thinking with the theories, of course.
Her name is Sarah Cailean. She's
okay.
She's
My apologies.
Very accomplished person. So.
No, yeah. She sounded like it. I only caught like the last 5 minutes. But I was thinking, all this thing. We're not, and again, it's all speculation and all. We're gonna find out. I guess not till June now at the earliest. But I was thinking when he was in there, what if Ethan was in the bathroom and Zaina went to go get her food from the kitchen, and he was coming down from the first two, and then. He called her, and then Ethan came out of the bathroom, went in the room and saw her there, and then he got him. Because they were both found in the room now. Is that right?
Well, that's what it
I've
says.
heard so many things.
And that document, but the letter that I got that mentioned the bushy eyebrows said that Ethan was found in the hallway. So maybe he was partially in and out, and you could just choose whatever you want. I'm just saying, I don't know. We don't have the answer to that.
I got you. And here, and I know. You were, very on top of, just the speculation and all. But here's one theory, man. I want to run this by you. What if? Because this would make the most sense to me. What if when Kohberger locked eyes with Dylan, he threatened her and he said, "Listen, I'm going to get you if you say anything or anything like that," and spared her but threatened her. And then that would make a lot of sense to me for her to lock the door and just be totally shook, not knowing if he left the house, not knowing anything, and that's the delay. Because I don't, because for them to say that she saw him froze and face to face just about and all that, I think that they might leave that chapter out of that book. But if that's what it is, that would make way more sense. And I think everybody would just shut the hell up. Like, oh, well, if he said that, what are you going to do? Like, you'd lock the door and you'd likely shut up for as long as you could,
What did you just say there? Somebody said no. Who are you saying? Who are you guys talking about? They're saying, I don't think he saw her. Who did you say saw somebody? I missed that.
Well, and they don't go too into detail, but from what I remember from the affidavit, she said she saw him with the bushy eyebrows or whatnot, and she just froze in fear.
She just saw him walking with the bushy eyebrows, but the door barely opened. Yeah, or we didn't say anything about how open the door was. It said she opened the door and saw him, but her room could have been dark, and he has tunnel vision because he just killed 4 people, and she's quiet and not saying anything, and he probably just kept turning, like moo. He went out the door.
Yeah, no,
the kitchen.
No doubt that definitely maybe likely could have happened. But what I'm saying is, with everybody with the curiosity of the delay, if he threatened her, that would make a lot of sense for her delay to me.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I don't,
just
no,
her.
but it doesn't. I don't. It doesn't.
All right.
I mean,
all right.
you know what? I guess
I'm
you know what I gotta say. I can't say that's impossible. You know, it's like, yeah, sure, he could have said something, and they're just not admitting that. But he probably would have killed her if he'd seen her. Don't you think? Like, he wouldn't have said, "Hey, you better be quiet, or I'm going to kill you." He just would have killed her because that's what he was doing there. He was having, he was enjoying it, you know?
maybe. Like, no, I'm with you, but again, like, you know, the speculation is there's a lot more that they left out and that she heard. She opened the door 3 times and all that. And again, there's no victim shaming at all. I'm just trying to piece it together where that could have happened, where all that action and she's that scared, opened it 3 times and actually saw him. And again, it doesn't specify that he saw her back or threatened her in any way. But if he did, that would put anybody on lockdown for 6 to 8 hours.
But it actually makes more sense to me that she just was paralyzed with fright throughout the night and eventually kind of sneaks, you know, just sort of woke up and was like, "Oh my God, I'm scared to look." So called friends to come over. Makes more sense to me that way. I know everybody needs to have answers. But like she said,
right.
Like investigators might need to have answers. But my thing is I don't like. I mean, you're not doing. I see what you're saying. It's not the same as people, but it's just always wanting to wonder. It's like we run out of things to wonder about, so we got to wonder about something like that. To me, it just there's nothing left to care about. Why she didn't call, you know, or anything like that. It's just it is what it is, and it's over.
No, I agree with you. You know what I think happened? I think everybody started to chill out with that. And then when the affidavit came out and said she saw him, then everybody's like, "Yeah, what the," you know what I mean? Like, I just think it started up again. But
yeah, but you know what? Tell you what, man. I don't think it's a crazy theory. Okay, so how about this? If it turns out to be right, man, I'm sending a hoodie. All right.
Oh snap! All right.
You know what I'm saying, Joey?
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, bro.
All right. Okay. All right. I gotta get
buddy.
this other call.
All right, yo. All right, you got it. Yo, freaks. You guys rock. I appreciate. Yo, I'm from right outside of Philly. Everybody thinks Jersey, Chicago. I'm from right outside of Philadelphia in the suburbs. I actually sent you a cold case. Actually, there's a lot of cold cases around here, man, that I'm curious about. But anyway, one last question, brother. That case last night, was there any updates with the poor little girl, or they found her sister that you were working on?
I didn't see an update. Normally people send me updates on something like that. I didn't get any, so.
Okay. All right.
I didn't check, but if somebody gets an update on that, let me know. I was pretty busy all day today, so there you go.
All right, I'm waiting for the Russian spy to call in. Ivan Victor, yes,
Geez.
come and get me. Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right, freaks.
All right. Okay, have a good one.
Until next time, stay safe out there. Take care.
All right,
see you, Gray. You the man, brother.
All right. Thanks. See you, bud. All right. I did want to go through. I got calls right here, but I wanted to go through that letter that I got again because I'm wondering now if it might mean more. You know, that's the thing. So let me get one more call really quick. 520, you're on.
Hey, Gray, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. Who's this?
Yeah, Sam.
Sam, what's going on?
Hey, man.
Wait, not Sam the Butcher. You're not Sam the Butcher from Brady Bunch, are you?
No, okay. just from Arizona.
Oh, wow, that was so weird. I was like, wow, the guy's calling right after we... Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, hey, I really liked your interview today with Sarah. That was really comprehensive, and you should have her on more often.
Yeah, I'd like to. She's pretty busy herself, though, so...
Yeah, she sounded like, she would say she was juggling 5 cases.
Yeah, I mean, she's been on television many times in shows, right? Like, not just as an expert or anything, but like television shows on cases. So, she's pretty busy.
But she didn't have the I got the impression, she didn't have the time to really dissect, all the cases that are in the news these days.
Right.
As much.
Well, she's going to come on pretty soon regarding Delphi at some point. Not too far off, I would imagine.
Well, good deal. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought she was great. I thought it was a great interview.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Some people don't like the style. I just like to have a regular, just almost like a conversation, but just bring up different points that are interesting to people, you know?
Yeah, right. And even if she wasn't, completely up to speed with, all of the elements of the case, as much as you cover.
Yeah, I mean, there's these little points
still,
out there that she's not going to have heard of because they're just these little tiny elements or something. And, I threw them in there if I thought that it might add to, for example, the DoorDash bag being in the kitchen, sort of adds, you have to keep that in mind,
Yeah, she had a lot of jaw-dropping moments there where, like, you would mention something and she was just kind of like, what? No, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
She had to respond kind of on the spot.
Yeah, I mean, she's, like I said, really busy, but she knows way more about all the criminology part of it, obviously, than us or any. I loved all of her takes on, especially trying to the Bundy and the other, what was his name? The Gainesville Ripper, that guy. A lot of people had brought him up because he used the K-bar knife. So, maybe he's using a little bit of this guy, a little bit of that guy.
Yeah, kind of a mishmash of...
smorgasbord of serial killers.
Serial killers.
Yeah.
He's in it, and this guy is in his infancy, so he's just starting out, but, creating kind of a mishmash of a few.
Yeah.
Anyway. But, I was really kind of trying to think about this timeline, and man, the timeline is so compressed that it's really hard to kind of nail down exactly what happened, because every event we're talking about, because like sound inside the house seems to be really important to me.
Yeah, like the whimpering and crying at 4:17 in the morning. That seems like the audio. I think they're letting us know that audio is Zena in them. But you sort of wonder. I don't think my theory is too far fetched that he attacked them first and then came back again. That my theory would be like that Zena was attacked and Ethan was killed and Zena was still alive, but barely, and then she was making whimpering sounds when he came down from killing Cailean and Madison, and then he finished her off, and that's why at 2:17 you have this extra sound again. I mean, what do you think about that?
I gotta, you're kind of spot on there, but I have a slightly different take on it.
Well,
and the reason I say that is because, as I said, sound seems to be the most important factor here. So we're talking about sound in the house.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go ahead and start at the top, like 0400, DoorDash guy comes,
and
either Zena or Ethan go down. They pick it up.
Yeah, and then at the same time, that's the exact same time that Dylan heard what seemed like dog playing with Cailean upstairs.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, both of them were right around. They both said at approximately 4 for both of those things.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to go on the assumption that timeline is a little off. So just bear with me. So 0402, Zena and Ethan, go to the kitchen. One or both of them. The lights on, and at this time, they take the food out of the bag, they put it on a plate. They go back to their room. Obviously, the lights on in the room. There's some kind of light emanating from Zena's room, but at 04, 2 or 3, we can assume that the suspect is like already walking his way down the hill.
Well, no, because you can't assume that, because at 4:04 he's still driving his car, and he sort of backs it up, and then he turns around, then he drives up there. I would say 4:05 or 4:06 he parks his car, and maybe gets into the house by 4:06 and 30 seconds. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't want to be that specific, but right around that time.
Like I said, we're splitting minutes here, so it's hard to tell.
But the 404 is a known. 404 and 412 and 417 are all known exact time frames. The rest of them are approximately this and approximately that.
So you don't think that the suspect had eyes on them in the kitchen, like getting a plate?
He could have, yeah.
The food.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely he could have been sitting up there parked at 404, and maybe Zaina took a little bit of time. The guy gets there at approximately 4, maybe it was 4:02. She goes and gets the food down there, maybe makes her way to the kitchen. It's 4:03, maybe 4:04. And that's about when, he pulls back there. I mean, we don't really know, but let's just say they overlap. That's all we got to say is that he parks and Zaina's in the kitchen and it overlaps. And he sees her in there, waits for her to leave that area. Right?
Yeah, shuts the light off, shuts the light off in the kitchen. They go back to their bedroom. And he can see the ambient light from her bedroom, which is like on the west side of the house.
Except there's no window on that side.
There's no window on the west side? I thought there was a window on the north side and the west side.
Well, let me just see. Hold on. Yeah, no, it's like this. The north-south is like this. So, yeah, that'd be the west side. There's no window right here. Not that I'm remember. I think there was one on the front side. Maybe there is one. Maybe I'm missing it.
There's one on the north side, but I thought there was one on the west side.
Maybe I'm just... let me look. I don't think so, though, because I've looked at that picture many times. But let me just... I know exactly where one is, so hold on a second. Working on...
Okay, well, we'll forge on ahead, because the point that I was trying to make was the sound was important, and that's really what I'm getting to. So, what I think happened is, so the suspect enters the house and he goes upstairs.
There is no window there, just to let you know.
Okay, so there is, you're correct. I can see that now, yeah. So there is no window, so he can't see any ambient light. So he doesn't really recognize, unless he recognizes people and knows which room she resides in.
Mm-hmm. Well, he could have been scoping him out from this side, maybe knew that was Zaina's room at some other night or something, and then saw her in the kitchen here. Yeah.
Right, but my hypothesis is that he walks upstairs, like after they leave the kitchen, they go into the room to eat their food.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ethan's going to be leaving pretty soon anyway, because he's on curfew.
Yeah.
So, the suspect. So he goes upstairs and he checks out Cailean's room because he's assuming that she's in there. And the dog starts to bark. He realizes there's no one in the room. He shuts the door. The dog's kind of still barking, and he immediately goes to Maddie's room, where he does the evil deed, and that's when Dylan hears all this commotion upstairs.
You want to hear something that's creepy? Like if somebody at that moment was actually in the parking area, they probably could have watched Madison and Cailean being killed, because unless she shut her windows, but I bet they don't do that very often.
No, it was kind of like the cold season,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard. Well, I mean, the window meaning curtains. I mean, like they could have people might have been able to look through and see what happened in there.
Yeah, they could have been just like sheer curtains, so you can see, figures. But yeah, they were on the phone, but they had been asleep actually, I think, for an hour or two. I think, right?
Let's see. I would say about an hour, because at 2:52 they were talking to the boyfriend, and then about 4:04. So maybe an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah. So so they were asleep. So he went right into Cailean's room. Dog was barking. He shut the door. Goes in. The dog's still barking because, dogs are instinctively, suspect of people that they don't know at weird times.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been one of those things. even though it's a really like, super passive dog. What was it, like a Labradoodle or something?
Yeah.
So the dog's barking anyway. He goes in, does the evil deed. Dylan hears what sounds like thumping around. It's because the evil deed is being done, and then so she reports that. That's in the affidavit, and then she hears playing with the dog, and so that was like 0410 or something like that. And then Zaina's door, maybe that door, her door might have been open. This is the point where I was getting to, was about how sound travels through the rooms, through the house. So imagine if Zaina's door is open, and they can hear all that scuffling up on the third floor. And Zaina and Ethan kind of go out, cross the threshold from her bedroom. And one of them, I'm not sure who it would be, says, "I think there's someone in here." Now, for Dylan to have heard that, it would have had to been, reasonably loud, probably louder than, the tone, the volume that I'm talking to you right now, but not screaming. You wouldn't be screaming like, "I think there's someone in the house." So that's why it would be in the hallway. If they were if Zaina and Ethan were in the bedroom when they said that, with the door closed. Dylan wouldn't have heard that. What do you think about that?
So, you think that she said that? Zaina? That there's somebody in the house?
Zaina or and with the door open, and they were kind of like maybe standing in front of the bathroom in that.
So after he come downstairs, then they see him. He already killed the girls, right, upstairs?
Well, they're hearing. I think maybe while they were eating their food, the door may have been open. The door of the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe they heard somebody was here.
They heard this kerfuffle going on upstairs, and they kind of started walking outside the bedroom.
Yeah, it could have been it could be that just saying there's somebody here, that voice is what alerted Kohberger to other people being awake in the house. It's possible. But anyways, I got to get there's a whole bunch of people on hold here waiting.
Oh, you bet, man.
But hey, you got your theory out there. It's on the record.
Hey, right on, great. Take it easy. Sorry, man. Didn't mean to keep it too long.
Oh, no, I didn't keep it too long. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, bye. Somebody just sent me an email about the... that wasn't it. Hold on a second. God, what's going on? Why are these opening up? Oh, yeah, right here. So in that, the Athena Brownfield, this is the caretaker. So this is one of the two people that has the 4 kids. She was arrested, stopped during a search for missing Athena. The woman who authorities say was supposed to be looking after 2 young sisters in Oklahoma is under arrest. Tuesday, a postal worker found Athena Brownfield 5-year-old sister wandering, and that would be, I think her name was something similar sounding, Adina, I think, wandering alone on a road herself. After that, authorities learned Athena was missing, but they don't know when she disappeared. That could have happened as far back as Friday, January 6th. See, didn't I say that last night? That we don't really know when she disappeared. The Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation arrested Alyssa Adams and charged her with child neglect. As far as the search, authorities are trying to put together a timeline while gathering what they call relevant items. I'm not going to call them evidence, but we are finding things around town that could be helpful for this case. They also are analyzing surveillance video and using search dogs, and a number of other agencies have joined the search. We've been in the air in helicopters with infrared on the ground around town and have been a lot of grid searches on foot and are four-wheelers. So, anyways, they got an arrest in there, so it's very likely that this idiot right here has something to do with it. I mean, just look how dumb this person is, physically. I mean, just an absolute idiot, just blankly staring into the screen. She probably sounds like she's the one that went and hung out with some other guy while her four kids, she left with her husband, or whatever he is, and then she went and was cheating on him with somebody else, and left all six of them, because they had four of their own kids, and then Athena and Adina. And Adina was walking around on the streets because the husband left the two little tiny, 4 and 5-year-old alone, apparently. I hope they arrest him too. That just means your brain sucks at that point. You should be arrested for being that stupid. All right, so we got that. Thanks for the update there. All right, 574, and we're getting a little bit like this, you guys. All right, 574.
Hi, Gray.
Hello, what's going on?
Hey, this is Lisa.
Well, how's it going?
That last caller had some really good ideas, I thought.
Uh-huh.
And that made me think, if Cailean was the target and he went to her room and she wasn't there, and then he went to Maddie's room and found them.
Yeah.
There's a tussle, there's noise, and Xana and Ethan.
Right. I mean,
They may have opened the door to
all this
hear.
stuff had been talked about before. It's not like it's...
Oh.
So it's like, then there's noise from that, and then somebody goes, hey, there's sound coming up from upstairs. Hey, there's somebody here, because they heard something. I mean, I don't know how you would know that somebody's here unless you could hear a male's voice, and the only other male in the house would be Ethan. So it seems like for one of them to say, hey, somebody's here, it would be that you saw somebody that you didn't recognize come in, or you heard a male's voice. That's my opinion, because it feels like, why would somebody in the house, if you hear a female voice or just sound, say, hey, somebody's here? Sound wouldn't make...
Yes, or...
something would have cued you to say there's somebody here.
Or Xana opened the door to listen further and then heard the steps coming, heard Brian coming down the steps, and then she's like, someone's here. Mm-hmm. So anyways, that wasn't my point of calling. My point of calling was the whole debate about, did Brian see Dylan? Dylan saw Brian, but if Brian didn't know Ethan was there and he got spooked, maybe he thought, well, who knows if the other girls have males in their room.
I don't know. I think it's just more that he just didn't see. I mean, the door, let's say the door's open, 8 inches or so or whatever, and the person's looking out and they can see him, but it's dark in their room. And perhaps, those other issues like we've talked about before with his vision or whatever. And he just didn't see any, but he already killed 4 people, so he's got this adrenaline. He's hyper-focused now to get out of the house, and he's just not paying attention. That makes more sense to me than overthinking it, thinking that, oh, he might be thinking that the other girls have guys too. So even though I'm seeing her right now, I think if he knew that somebody saw him, he'd kill them, because he wouldn't want to be identified.
I agree. I don't think he saw Dylan at all. But if he either came there with a specific purpose to only kill Cailean, or he came there and he was going to kill everyone in the house. And Ethan screwed up that plan. He got spooked, and he's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I mean, that's what me and Sarah were talking about. I was thinking, did he go there to replicate the Chi Omega killing of Bundy, maybe? Because he chose a house with 5 girls in it, and Bundy attacked 5 girls that night. Or was it just Cailean? And if it was the first of the 5 people, like he went there to kill all 5, then it was all thrown off when Ethan showed up and made too much noise in the house, And this spooked the guy. That's when he was like, and the dog was barking. I mean, think if you're a killer and it was quiet at first. You sneak up to Cailean and Madison's room and you kill them with the knife. Relatively quiet, some sounds here and there, a scuffle. Then somebody knows it that you're there, and now it's getting noisy. There's people saying, "Hey, there's somebody here." Just a lot of stuff going on, and the dog's barking. Now you're probably saying, "I got to get the hell out of here." You're not going to go, "Ooh, I still got 2 more murders to commit." You're going to get the hell out of there with the barking and all the noise. There's so much noise that a camera on somebody else's house was picking up the sound. What do you think about that?
That is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Chilling.
It's creepy.
Okay, well, I just wanted to call in, throw that little idea out there. I enjoyed your conversation with Sarah, I believe her name was.
Okay, but as I
Very
tell you what, though,
interesting.
if that's what he says is the reality of it, I'll send you a hoodie too. Okay.
That sounds wonderful. Yes.
So in court, if he goes, "Well, I passed the room. I did see her, but I thought maybe she had a guy too." Boom, you got one coming. All right.
Okay.
All right. But what do I get
Sounds
if it's
good
not?
to me. All
no, I'm
right.
just
Have a
kidding.
good night. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one. See you later. Bye bye. Do you think someone saw his headlights and that's when they said someone's here? Could be. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good point, right? Weren't we talking about that? I think what we said the other night was maybe somebody, when she was in the kitchen, she saw somebody coming down the hill. But I'm not sure if headlights would necessarily mean somebody's here, right? Does that necessarily mean that? Thanks, the Mike D experience. Okay, 206.
Howdy.
Hello, who's this?
This is Brandon from Washington State. How you doing?
I can see it's 206 Washington. Yep. What's going on?
Wanted to call in. I just realized now maybe I should have been listening to your live stream on a separate device so I could keep up with what you guys were talking about. But I just wanted to pick your brain about the knife sheath a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you had a theory on kind of how it ended up on the bed to begin with, because I have a couple questions about the entry point to the house and which floor he was on first, the suspect was on first. And my thought was, I'm still not ruling out the 3rd floor sliding glass door as an entry point, depending on how.
Well, do you think he may have had a grappling hook or something? Or I mean, I'm serious. It's way up in the air. No, come on. Like the most logical thing is the sliding glass door on the 2nd floor, right? I mean, in the back of the house.
That's definitely the thing. The only reason I mention that is because I'm wondering if he did happen to come on the 3rd floor, the sound that Dylan have heard, like the dog barking, could that have been the dog running from Maddie and Kaylee's room over to the 3rd floor, the vacant room, to meet him at the sliding glass door, which it kind of lines up with the timeline, but I'm not sure. It just seems like a possible entry point depending on how athletic he is. And I don't know what the access is like from the back, but so that was my first theory there. But then the knife sheath was really interesting because I keep hearing like quote unquote experts saying that he may have been holding the knife sheath in one hand and that's why it fell, because it was an awkward thing for him to be holding the sheath in one hand and the knife in the other, and then it got lost. But I was thinking it probably was clipped onto his belt like it's supposed to be. And my thought was, if he had planned to
assault,
unfortunately do like a sexual assault on the victims, then maybe it fell off of his belt. But
yeah, that's what. That's what Sarah Cailean was saying earlier. She said that maybe he was going to sexually assault and was taking his own belt off, but that would probably mean that the sheath was put in the first, before the first loop, right? Maybe.
Right.
Because you pull it off and then it would come off, but if it's after the 2nd loop, then it's still sort of secure in there unless you pull it out of that loop too. But let's just say that that's what he was trying to do. Then the sheath would have fallen off, and so I guess That does make sense, right? But it could just be that he had the sheath holding the knife and merely, unclipped it, and it was like in his pocket or something, just the whole thing.
Right.
We don't know what he
Yeah,
was
it could
wearing.
have been in his pocket. Because the question is, if that was the case, I know it was originally reported in the police reports that there was, in I think the coroner's report, there was no sexual assault. So my question would be, if that was what he was doing, what could have spooked him downstairs to stop early? Because it was a pretty tight window of time. I know that it's very
also it could
possible
be that they were fighting too much for him. Like, let's say Cailean was the one and she wasn't letting him do it, and then she just kept fighting, and she was making too much noise and struggling, and then eventually gave up on that and killed them. And then maybe that struggle is what but alerted Zena, because she was already awake, and Ethan, and then maybe that, and then he came down the stairs as he was trying to get the hell out of there, and then he attacked them next. They retreated to the room, and he finished them off in the room, maybe, or maybe Ethan's in the hall, halfway in the hall. We don't really know. Then he leaves the house. That kind of makes some sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
There's a few things that make sense. There's like 3 or 4 things that make pretty good sense.
Yeah. I think listening to Dylan's statements, it's hard because in the affidavit obviously doesn't specify the chronology of the events or, exactly when she heard what. But if you do take them chronologically, that kind of theory kind of makes sense to me. Perhaps he was upstairs first. Whether he entered the second floor or the third floor, I guess is irrelevant, but he was heard upstairs first. Perhaps the dog was upstairs with them, and that's what cued Maddie and Cailean to know that someone was there. And then, the next thing that she poked her head out and didn't see anything, right? And then the next thing she heard was the crying from Zena's bedroom, but they didn't specify how much later that was. That could have been 4 minutes later. That could have been 10 minutes later, 12 minutes later. And then the other question I had for you is the TikTok. It says that she was on TikTok at 4:12, but my thought is, would it register as her being on TikTok if she just opened her phone to call 911 and her last app that had been opened before that was TikTok? So maybe there's some phone data that shows that she was, quote, scrolling, through TikTok, but really it was just she was trying to contact somebody, and TikTok was the last app she was on.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought maybe that could have been a thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's hard to really. I wish we knew exactly when the dog playing time was, exactly when the Venmo was dropped off, and exactly when the door opened up and she grabbed the bag.
Right.
I mean, because that could have been at 4:06. I mean, we don't have any idea when she went down to pick it up off the ground, right?
Right, yeah, and it did say in the affidavit, I believe, it did say specifically that she received it. So she did, Zena did step out, grab the order, bring it in, and for some reason put it behind the sink in the kitchen. So it's hard to squeeze all that stuff in and make it all fit. But that's all I had to say. But thanks for having me on. Yeah,
no, I appreciate it. That was good stuff. Awesome.
Yeah, all right, have a good one.
All right, you too, man. Have a good one. Bye. Well, Paulette, somebody just emailed me. Paulette said that links don't work. Can you guys see like that Linktree post right there, or the PayPal one? Because I'm not really sure. I did have to sign these new things today from Google. Oh, you can? Okay. Okay. What made you think you couldn't see them earlier? Oh, come on. It wouldn't shock me at all if he passed a polygraph test. It doesn't mean a damn thing. A person like that, do you think it would faze him at all? Or he'd be even nervous taking a polygraph test? He probably just sat there with the most calm demeanor there ever was. All right, 910, you're on.
Hey, Greg, it is Zenshine. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. What's going on?
Oh, good. Yeah, good to speak with you again. And it's so interesting to hear everybody calling in about the case everywhere, because everybody is at different points down the thought path. Some people aren't quite as far down and haven't thought about all the different scenarios as others has, and I know for you it has to be somewhat a little frustrating for you because someone calls in and is like, yeah, we were working through that 20 steps ago, but you can't blame anybody. Everybody can only devote so much attention to it. But it just dawned on me. But the ones, the freaks, I think you call them, you guys call yourselves, which is awesome. I think that the information and questions and theories that come on this channel are further down that thought path. I probably that's a tribute to you.
Oh, cool, yeah. Well, I mean, I try to make it so that everyone here is aware of the really relevant pieces of information. There's a lot of. I did think it was really interesting the part about the social media profile, Papa Roger. I didn't really. I don't know if that's out there or she put that together. I don't know who came up with that, but it was really, So Elliot Rogers, an incel that I did a show on, and Roger is a really rare last name, which is actually a first name that's a last name. It's usually Rogers, like she said. Elliot Rogers, 2 first names, but it was somebody named Papa Roger. And so that is kind of strange because then it's like you're paying homage to another incel type who killed a lot of people. And then you do wonder then if that adds some credibility to that being an account of Brian Kohberger. So who knows?
Absolutely agree. And it would be something the criminal slick person would do, paying homage to one of his, someone he looks up to in his craft, and it would make a lot of sense, and I thought that was a great point. I did hear a little bit of that conversation.
Well, it's weird, too, because I brought up Elliot Rodger at the very beginning of the case, and then it's interesting that somehow, if it's true, he's associated with that account, then wow, how weird is that?
They'll find out. I believe that all that will be found out. I have to believe that. I mean, the computer IT records. Oh, come on, there's nothing they cannot get into if you're talking about the FBI. I mean, you can have a VPN and you can have all that and think you're undercover all you want, but when it comes to the FBI, you're not. They know you have a digital footprint, and there's no way you can cover those tracks.
They have some just crazy technology going on right now. Whatever they're doing.
I mean, they're fun. Unlimited budgets. They got stuff that we have no idea about. They wouldn't They wouldn't show those cards either. Right. We don't know about any of that technology they have. I wanted to ask you about the point of entry, and a couple of callers ago, and you had actually touched on it with them. Is the prevailing theory, I say prevailing in quotes, that he entered in the front door on the first floor?
No, I think if you go by what Steve Gonzalez said, he said they believe he entered and exited through the sliding glass door in the kitchen.
What do you think about that?
I actually think it makes the most sense. My brother and other people, and we've even talked about it here before that, but they think that maybe he was watching when the DoorDash was there and then went in, like she just didn't lock the door after she got her DoorDash and he came in. But I think it's really risky for somebody like that to even show up in the front of a house like that where there's more lighting and things. It just feels to me like he parked on that street late at night, didn't have his lights on in his car, snuck down through the woods and entered through the sliding glass door. That's what makes the most sense to me. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I agree, because he can huddle around the trees area a little bit. He can middle a little bit. The windows are open. Check things out. Also, I do remember beside that door, if I remember earlier, I stumbled on some video with I think it might have been the drone video at the very first of it. But there was the window that's beside the sliding door. There is a cinder block, and there's no screen on the window.
Yeah.
And that room, I don't think, was being used as a bedroom because Dylan was in there, but she had moved, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it in the front of the house?
No, by the sliding glass door on the second floor. The point of entry that we're talking about, there's a window beside.
No, that is window? No, yeah, but that's actually where Dylan was living. That's where she lives now. I mean, not now, but because she probably moved out. But originally, people thought that she lived in the front of the house on the first floor. There was 2 roommates on the first floor. That's what people thought. But it turns out that she was on the second floor, 2B, on the same general area as the kitchen, just down the hall. And that's the window you're looking at right there.
What's the room beside that to the left? Is that,
Well, that's the
to the
window.
kitchen?
Yeah, it's
That's
just
the window to the kitchen. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, gotcha. Okay, well, I still stand with the theory that she saw him. He was at that door, the sliding glass door. She was in there with the DoorDash, and he was either at the door coming in, about to come in, and that's when she announced somebody's here.
And
Right,
then,
that's
so
just kinda my
at that point, did he kill them first and then go upstairs?
Then we get to your original theory, which I was glad
Yeah.
to hear you with Sarah talking about that. It
Yeah.
seems like you're falling back to that a little bit, and I've always
Yeah.
been with you on that since you first said
Well,
it.
I like
think that's right.
I like the one where he goes back to finish her off. I mean, not that I like that happened. I'm saying the theory makes more sense to me.
I agree. She saw him. She alerted the house, and when she saw him, he went to her. And I think actually Ethan was probably asleep. I actually think they were drunk at the party. They came back. They quote unquote had relations. He passed out. He was asleep. She got the food, and she was kind of on her own. She yelled, "Somebody's here!" And he went after her and did her and Ethan kind of together. But because she alerted the house, he was in a rush. Therefore, he went up to the room. Looked in the dog there. Okay, not in that room. Goes to the other room.
Well, you don't think he
does
killed them
everything
first? Because right then he would have attacked them first, right? Because hey,
that's
he
what I
wanted
think.
He wanted to keep them down. So like she survives the attack maybe. Then he runs upstairs, and maybe they're starting to kind of be awake up there. Maybe Cailean.
That's right.
I mean, who knows? But he attacked both of them. They end up on the bed, and he kills both of them, and the sheath falls off somehow.
Yes.
Then while he's leaving, he hears somebody whimpering and crying, and now he's like, "Oh boy, I better do something because they might know who I was." And then he goes in and says, "I'll help you," something like that, right? And kills Zaina, and that's why at 4:17 we hear that extra whining and a thud on the camera outside, right? Then leaves the house. Is that what you?
That's what I think. I think the whining and the thud was about the same time he was going to quote unquote help her and put her out of her misery, right? I think that was the reason for that quote, right? Because
that's what I think too.
Because he had to go upstairs.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, also, I think that like when you're talking about with Sarah, whimpering, like the wording of hearing a whimpering from that camera, like the camera that's 56 feet. I like how you measured the feet from the camera to her bedroom too, and it's about 56 feet, I think you said.
Yeah.
So the wording of
whimpering.
being heard through that camera, that's a little odd. I mean, I can understand the dog barking. I can even understand the thud. But to use the term whimpering, and I have to think it's like Sarah said, it's like a death throes. It's whimpering. It's because there's only a little bit of life left in her, poor girl. And so I wonder how that got picked up on the camera.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think. I don't think it's. I think it's something else. I think she's still alive, and she's like, she's like just maybe kind of like what do you call it? Moaning in pain. Something like that. Ethan's already dead, and he thought that she was dead before, and then he comes down, and the reason is because the guy says something like, "I'm going to help you." Well, guess what? That isn't going to be Ethan who said that. It's going to be the killer saying it, and the only reason he'd be able to say that is because Ethan's not alive, and she's the one that's alive. And so how would that have happened? Why would he be saying, let's say the initial attack with Ethan and Zaina, he's not going to ever have the chance to say, "I'll help you." That's just a brutal shit going on. So the initial attack was just frenzied stuff, thought she was dead. Then he goes upstairs. Now, they're going to know that for sure because there'll be blood from Ethan and Zaina upstairs in Cailean and Madison's bedroom if that is, in fact, the order. So, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
That'll be interesting to see. That is my right now until I hear somebody kicking in the door in with an amazing theory that turns me around. I'm with you on that one ever since you first said it. I will take in all the other information, and if there's a theory that knocks that one out of the way, then I'll go with it.
That's exactly what I do too. It's the only thing that
Yeah,
really kind
because-
of works with all of the little pieces, except one thing that you still got to work with is the TikTok at 4:12. I want to know what that means. Does that mean that's when she signed on? And then if that's true, that makes a little more dicey. That like then he finally went into the house at 4:12 and then he attacked them. Then he goes upstairs. Then he came back down. But it also makes a little bit more sense because 5 minutes is about what you kind of picture how quick this would have been. I would think it'd even be less than that, wouldn't you? I mean, you're zipping
right.
through
Oh,
the
I
house
think-
in a frenzy. You're not just slowly, methodically walking around.
6 minutes under that with that situation, like Sarah said, it's a lifetime. 12, 18 minutes, that, I mean, I think 6 minutes is about right because, the adrenaline's going. That's about all the energy he could have very well had.
Well, those videos
I mean,
that I've made where the walks around in the house?
Mhm.
Those only are like my camera walks around in the house. That's only a minute 10 or something to do the whole route to go to every single bedroom. Okay? Now, if you're in there rushing around killing people, it might take 3 or 4, something like that. But so that might mean that he pulled his car back behind the house and he waited. He sort of waited a while because he knew that there was that DoorDash delivery. Maybe he saw the light in the kitchen. Then he waited an extra 5 or 6 minutes until it seemed dark, like everything was quiet again. And then he came into the house and, hey, somebody's here. And that's when all that happened. Right?
Totally agree.
So he might have sat in that car for 8 minutes or so, just sitting up there, maybe 7 minutes waiting. I guess we'll see. I think that's the video that I'm going to make, though. That one right there.
Or just poking around, in the bushes behind the house, letting the DoorDash thing settle down, let her get or whatever, let her just get settled from getting her food. That could have been the reason, too. And plus, he could have very well sat in his car going, okay, I'm going to do this, running through his game plan one time. I think that's what could have happened with that. As far as the knife goes, the sheath, I don't think the sheath was on his belt either. I think he had that knife and he had the sheath, but I think it was either just in his waistband or in his pocket because he can't very well go walking around with that kind of knife in his pocket without cutting himself.
Yeah, and you're also
I don't
not
think
going to
that
be
sheath
like
was attached to
put it on his belt and walking around just like
Yeah.
sticking out like a freaking
Tonto or something.
Yeah, just crazy, like some sort of ninja or some shit. Just
That means
Anyway.
that means when he walked by Dylan, he had that knife in his hand. He had that big honking knife in his hand. She saw bushy eyebrows.
Yeah,
And
well,
that
he
big
may have like stuck it into his waistband or something.
Would he what? I don't know. Would he? That's the whole reason he had
Yeah,
the sheath.
yeah, he might have
right?
still had the
So
knife
he-
in his hand just as protection in case somebody jumped out at him or something.
That
I
too.
don't really know.
Yeah, that too. He would have to have it. I don't think he would put it in his waistband. I don't think that would happen because it's a sharp knife. Of course, I don't know. He did what he did, but I mean that's a sharp knife. It would go against everything in your instinct to just slip it right down in your pocket or like in
Yeah.
your waistband without a sheath. But at the same time, wouldn't you go, "Oh no, my sheath"? But the heat was on by then, and he was out of the house. That's why he didn't notice Dylan.
Yeah, he just wanted to get the hell out of there at that point. And he was I don't know. He might not even remember some stuff like when did he pull the knife out of the sheath? Did I even bring the sheath in here with me? Did I do this? He probably knew later when he thought about it. Oh no, I definitely had that sheath. Oh man, So who knows why he came back there around 9:20, 9:15 in the morning the next day? He might have been looking for it near the parking lot or in those areas. He's not going to go back inside the house. I can tell you that. But
Now, his phone pinged in the cell tower for the area, but there weren't any cameras that saw him at that time.
but he could have parked up on
were there?
Walentra Street up there and then walked just through the woods there and got back in that same spot pretty easy.
But wouldn't some Ring cameras have seen him?
Well, they didn't seem to really have him on camera on Walentra until he went into other... The officer said that he knew that he didn't go certain ways because there's cameras that never picked him up. I don't know if they have any cameras that picked him up back there that we're aware of, but they did say there's a lot of cameras that picked him up. So they're not telling us everything that they have for sure.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and that's something we always have to remember until we know all the facts. They're giving away just the facts. I think the game is to try to figure it out with the puzzle that they've left us. just enough to make their case to a judge to get the warrant without showing all their cards. I mean, that's kind of the puzzle we're working with here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's morbidly fascinating, and I feel like everyone's interested, and I feel like it's for the greater good. And there's a part of human nature that just wants to figure things out, and this is definitely something that has gripped a lot of people. So
yeah,
thank you.
Hey, it was really cool theory. So thanks. Good talking to you.
Yeah, back to you, man. It's Sunshine. I'm in North Carolina, and everybody freaks. Hug the ones you love. Tell them you love them. It's always later than we think. We'll talk to you down the road. Thank you, Greg.
Well, thanks for calling. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Rick.
Yep. Well, I'm in the stop the calls now. Let's go over that letter again, the email that I got a long time ago. Okay, so keep in mind, I got this email on the 22nd of November. Okay, so now I want to read it again after we've had time to digest the probable cause document and all of that. After the arrest was made, I read it in a video, and I wanted to put it out there because the concern was that it was the safety of the witnesses was in jeopardy, and now they're not. Okay? The arrest has been made, so let's go read through this again. So for those of you who never saw this, and, like we don't get 6,000 people watching because they just want to watch the sort of bells and whistles shit. On here, we actually get information and think through things rationally. If you like that, this is where you'll be. If you like the bells and whistles, zing, bang, boom. I do have the sound effects for that. And all right, wake up, people. Wake up. All right. All right, here we go. This is what I had from a long time ago. So just keep that in mind. This is way before the probable cause document. A month prior to it. Huh? What are you talking about, KK? No idea what you're saying. Anyways, right here it says, one of the survivors saw a man come in as they were going to go out of their bedroom. So one of the survivors saw a man come in as they were going to go out of their bedroom. So she was about to leave her bedroom. Of course, it wasn't strange for people they didn't know to be there at that house because a lot of people would party. That survivor didn't recognize the person and was already in their pajamas. This is Dylan Mortensen. So they didn't leave their room and locked the door and went to bed. The person they saw had like their shirt or turtleneck covering their mouth as though they had just come in from out of the cold. They didn't see their face, but the person had bushy eyebrows. And I even did a poll before I released this that said, do you think he has bushy eyebrows when they arrested him? Because I already knew this. So that adds a hell of a lot of credibility to the rest of this, don't you think? Hey, thanks, Deep Diver. So at least it means that whoever was talking to them knew this information way back then. I was going to say, can I get a boom? All right, so here we go. They are keeping that information from the public as they don't want any retaliation from the perpetrator. The perpetrator did not see the survivor when they were going to leave their room. I mean, this is exactly what's in the probable cause document. And this was an email from November 22nd. Then it does go through some of the other people. Jack, the ex-boyfriend, wasn't actually asleep, as of course, based on what she was told, the person writing me. Cailean told Jack, her boyfriend, that she wanted a break. Jack was with a friend when Cailean called those times because she was trying to get Jack to come over. She was intoxicated. So she was persistent and made the statement about sharing a dog, etc., in the text messages. Jack's friend was teasing Jack about being whipped and that he didn't need to answer every time that Cailean called and play by her rules. So he didn't answer, and Maddie said, hey, well, I mean, they don't know what she said, but likely Maddie said, I'll call with my phone and he'll pick it up. But of course, Jack didn't pick it up. They were playing lovers' games. Jack is very distraught and having some guilt and will need counseling. As it was told to me, he said he picked up or had gone over. Let's see. He said if he'd picked up or had gone over, they may all still be alive. Hey, thanks, Jennifer Orm. And that makes total sense to me, right? So about this time is, you know, I mean, I had a theory on the boyfriend, but it wasn't accusing him. It was just a theory on him. And, you know, around this time is when I was like, yeah, they already cleared him. And then I read this and I was like, okay, that actually makes sense. So while he still made sense in terms of like, wow, it had all the elements that you would look for as a motive.
Starstruck.
All right. All right. So the next part says, the survivors heard sounds or a fight or something. See, look how similar this is to the affidavit, you guys. Just listen again. Gray repeats stuff on his show. What a bastard. How dare you repeat. Okay, forget it. You know what? I'm not going to read the rest of it, guys, because I'm repeating something that I've already said on another show. That's what they told me on Reddit, that on Reddit I repeat stuff, so I must have some sort of mental... I'm just kidding. I'm gonna repeat it. All right. Oh yeah, you remember that? Who was that? Did he send me an email? That person? Yeah, I don't remember who that was. Yeah, that was it. Or yeah, he was in the chat. He said thank you for something. I don't remember. All right, so here we go. The survivor heard sounds or a fight or something, but stayed in their room and kept the door locked. They said that no one ever came to their door to try to come in. So the other two roommates said they heard a fight or something. They stayed in their rooms and kept the door locked. Oh, well, Dylan didn't really do that. I mean, she opened it 3 times. They said no one ever came to their door to try to come in. They called their friends and told them something happened. That's the next day. And can they come and see what happened? Let's see. It says right here, that's when Ethan was found. So Ethan was found is what's said here. And they all ran out of the house and called 911 and reported an unconscious person. They never saw the other 3 when, so the other 3 people that were murdered, Zana, Cailean, and Madison. They were found by law enforcement after responding to the call. And this is exactly, we don't know the order of things that they found, but it matches the probable cause document. The phone was one of the survivors' phones. It does actually match the probable cause. Didn't they say they found somebody upstairs and then it led to all 3 of the rest of the bodies? The phone was one of the survivors' phones. They were too nervous, scared, etc. to call and just handed whomever it was that called their phone. So they're standing there and they're like, oh, I can't do it, and they handed it to some other person. Of course, there is nothing known to the public regarding this information, so I can't say they're absolute truths. Well, they're pretty damn accurate, okay? They are suspecting, and that by that I mean those around this case, friends, etc., and not necessarily law enforcement, that it was someone that had eyes on Cailean, and maybe someone that had seen her at one of the bars Cailean frequented and possibly had been rejected by her. Also, the dog is still basically a puppy. I know it looks full grown, but it's still very young, and it's used to a lot of people coming and going. Thank you, Jessica Schubach. That would be awesome. A late show wave for the Reddit trolls. I am now forcing all of you to send in. I'm just kidding.
Idiots wave, ocean wave.
Of course, there's nothing known to the public regarding the information, so I can't say they are absolute truths. You think I should? I should make this a standalone video. I think didn't I do that though? It was like a 20-minute live stream or something. Of course, there's nothing known to the public regarding this information, so I can't say there's absolute truth. They are suspecting, and by that I mean those around this case, and not necessarily the law enforcement, that it was someone that had eyes on Cailean, and maybe someone that she had seen her at one of the bars Cailean frequented and possibly had been rejected by her. Yeah. Hey, thanks Georgina Stoliker and 8675309 for the morons on Reddit. I mean, that's almost like they're all, I mean, I wouldn't say all, but the true crime community on there are just, whew, wow, embarrassing. All right, here's the next one. Yeah, maybe I will do that tomorrow, okay? Just a standalone video. It's kind of a repeat thing. A little bit late, but, you know, I can reference where the original video, because it was put out before the affidavit was put out. That's why everybody's like, damn, there's those bushy eyebrows. Also, the dog is still basically a puppy. I know it looks full grown, but it's still very young and it's used to a lot of people coming and going. The source said a lot more was seen and heard, as you can hear everything in those houses because of the way they were built. That was on November 23rd. Then on December 17th, I got another one. Hey, thanks Beagle Mom. The Jack that was rumored to go to Africa. Remember the guy with the hoodie at the grub truck? Remember, grub truck is just so, like, it's so old. It almost seems like a different case at this point, doesn't it? I mean, like the grub truck? It was so early on, it's just sort of like, oh yeah, the grub truck. It's almost irrelevant at this point, other than a timeline element. Thank you, Holly G. Contributing to the Reddit Moron Fund. Thank you very much, morons. Really appreciate it. Hey, 2 girls and a pressure cooker. Came in the back door and left it open. Zaina came up from getting DoorDash and the door and found door open, said someone is here. Maybe. Yeah. I mean, that would be, you'd have to assume that she remembered that the door was shut.
Came in the back door and left it open. X came up from getting DoorDash.
Maybe.
Door open, said
That's you're assuming that she knew that it was shut already. And then now it's open, so somebody's here. But yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. She's going into the kitchen with her DoorDash bag, and then sees the doors open and say, hey, somebody's here. He's up killing somebody. But he hears the voice from downstairs. And when he comes down, he was confronted somehow by them, and then he killed him, you know. But I think everything started, you know what I think? I think the killer came into the house at something more on the lines of 4:11. Something like that. Maybe 4:10 at the latest, or earliest. Something like that. I got it sent to me a long time ago, Ruger. I've had this email on November 22nd, which is only 9 days after the murders. I had this information. So, and it mentions the bushy eyebrows, so it gives a lot more credibility to some of the other elements. So anyways, the Jack that was rumored to go to Africa did not go to Africa. He was asked by law enforcement to leave because he was receiving threats. And all of this is absolutely true now, right? Because he has nothing to do with it. Although there's probably some holdouts. Have you seen the hunting pictures? There's blood everywhere. Well, that's generally what happens when you go hunting. It's absolutely amazing. When you shoot an animal, it actually starts bleeding. It's crazy. A really unusual information there, but I know that you guys will sleuth it out. He didn't want to leave, and his parents didn't want him to leave, so he's gone into hiding. Eh? Source was told, and you guys know that I had it since then because I talked about the bushy eyebrows, and some of the stuff that I've brought up was in here in theories that I had way before that. And I talked about the bushy eyebrows probably, I think it was 3 or 4 days before the affidavit was put out. And then I did a poll question a week before that, or when he was arrested, and said, hey, do you guys think he has bushy eyebrows? And people were wondering, what do you mean bushy eyebrows? Who cares? Well, and 60% of you said yes. So that was pretty cool. It is believed that Ethan was killed first. So here we go. This is one of the reasons I was thinking this too. We'd wondered about it before, but this really made me wonder. It says, source was told that it was Ethan that was found on the floor, face down in the hallway outside the bedroom. Okay? But the affidavit does say that he was found in the room, but maybe he was partially in and out, right? It is believed that Ethan was killed first, then Zaina, and then up to kill the 2 girls. If that's true, then Zaina was still alive when he came down the stairs, and that's when he said, don't worry, or whatever it was, I'll help you. And then he finished her off that time. Right? That is exactly a theory that makes sense. Because other than that, it doesn't make sense. Unless you're saying that the sound we heard was upstairs, but they're both found on the bed, so you don't want to hear another thing, everybody? There was a thud sound. I just got another boom moment, you guys. There's a thud sound. What would that mean to you? That a body hit the floor, right? Well, guess what? Cailean and Madison's bodies were both found on the bed. The thud sound had to have come from either Zaina or Ethan because they were found on the floor. Can I get a boom? See, that's what I'm saying. When you think logically about things, sometimes you kind of just go, oh, shit. Now we just came up with something else that absolutely makes sense, doesn't it? Right? Ron Pexa! There you go. 8675309. No, the thud is not stabbing. Sorry. Wow. Hey. Wow, I think the law enforcement put those there. They didn't want people coming in, and that's how they locked the doors. Yeah. I think they just used those because they were in the house, and they put them on the ground to lock the door. I think obviously they would have removed them, but they were there like days and days after the murders. They would have removed them after taking photos and stuff, so they could have easy entrance and exiting from the house.
At back door. Your thoughts? Improvised lock to prevent door sliding?
Yeah, that's what I think, yeah. But man, doesn't that make a hell of a lot of sense? I just thought of that right now. The thud, the loud thud. It's not going to be Cailean or Madison. We already knew that the bathroom blocks noise. However, when you just reanalyze it and think, oh wow, both Zaina and Ethan are found on the ground, that makes a hell of a lot more sense. Thank you, SSP 134 Georgia. All right, let's go. Let me go back to. So it is believed that Ethan was headed out to the back to his frat house. So here it is. It is believed that Ethan was headed out to go back to his frat house and encountered the perp. Let me go back up here. Source was told that it was Ethan that was found on the floor face down in the hallway outside the bedroom. It is believed that Ethan was killed first, then Zaina, then up to kill the 2 girls. It was normal for Ethan to spend late nights with Zaina, usually leaving between 3 and 4 a.m. He had usually leaving between that time. But tonight, maybe it was a couple, 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later. He had to return to the frat house as it's against the rules to stay gone overnight. Zaina would walk him out so she could lock the door behind him. Now, does that mean walk him out of her room because she can lock the door there? Or does it mean all the way down, through the kitchen even maybe? Or does it mean all the way downstairs to the first floor? We don't know. Could easily be just her room, though. Although you wouldn't use the word walking out, but, who knows, right? Zaina would walk him out so she could lock the door behind him. It is believed that Ethan was headed out to go back to his frat house and encountered the perp. As he was leaving, and was stabbed immediately as the perp was surprised by Ethan. So wouldn't that be weird if he was heading to her room, Zaina's room, and then Ethan pops out because he's leaving? And then that still kind of fits in with the grub truck and everything. Not grub truck, the DoorDash, right? Because he didn't know Ethan was even there. Yeah, wow, this is all starting to kind of make sense now. Congeal, whatever the hell the term is. Because look at that. He might even be up in his car and he sees Zaina moving around, going to get the DoorDash, sees her going to the kitchen. Oh, it's just her alone. I've got this, man. I've got this. So then, when he comes in, he's going over to Zaina's room first, and Ethan pops out, and boom! There was an encounter right then, and he attacked. He had to get Ethan under control, killed him, and then Zaina's there. He stabbed her a few times, and then he makes his way up to his main target, which is Cailean, and lo and behold, both of them are up there, and he kills both of them. And they're on the bed. And then when he comes down the stairs, he hears this moaning and groaning coming from Zaina. I know this is disturbing. Like Sarah was saying, these are real people and everything. But I'm just trying to visualize. And then he goes over there and he says I'm here to help. Let me find that word here. What's the actual phrase? Yeah, right there. It's okay. I'm going to help you. Okay, Ethan's not saying that. Okay, he's already been stabbed. He's not going to be talking and saying, hey, it's okay. I'm going to help you. That's the killer right there. After he came down the stairs, realized that Zaina was still alive, heard her sounds, goes in there, and he says, it's okay, I'm going to help you. And he ends up finishing her off. Then he walks out, heading towards the kitchen, passes Dylan with his bushy eyebrows. He's full of adrenaline. Passes by, goes out the kitchen, up the hill, into the car, and leaves. Man, I think that's the one right there. That makes sense with all the little pieces. Now, when you say 4 o'clock, around 4, she heard somebody like playing with a dog. Well, around 4, the guy wasn't even there yet. So whatever that sound is, maybe that's Zaina moving around. This letter deserves the horses running in the background while we're reading this for the new subs and freaks that don't know. Oh, there you go. So what do you guys think of that?
Chewbacca? I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
What do you mean,
This
SS
letter deserves
PSYOPs? It has.
Horse, running in the background while you are reading this for the news.
They said his vehicle got there at 4:04. Yeah, everyone just thinks, oh yeah, let me put a name like PSYOPs on here, boy. I'm a freaking expert. Hey, let's see. Gray has amazing lizard eyes. I think that's it, Gray. What do you think about that? That theory right there. Okay, let me just try it one more time in my. I'm gonna sit back. Let's see. Around 4 o'clock, Dylan Mortensen hears something that sounds like somebody playing with a dog. But around that very same time, the DoorDash driver showed up with what looks like a Jack-in-the-Box meal from the Pullman, Washington Jack-in-the-Box, which, as I confirmed earlier in the evening, is open at 3:45 in the morning. They close down at 4 and clean. So that would make it so that he could get there by 4. That driver, we don't know if he met Zaina, but let's say he just dropped the meal off. Then Zaina goes downstairs, gets the meal, let's say at 4:03 or so, and heads on up to upstairs, and then goes into the kitchen about the same time that Brian Kohberger in his white Elantra pulls up in that back driveway in that hidden location up the hill behind the house. And you can see the light on in the kitchen when Zaina's in there, maybe putting the food on a plate. That's why the bag is in there. Then she walks out of her room and maybe goes back to, let's say goes back to, well, let me do this again. Let's do this again. I think let's just do it like this. The guy's up in the parking area. I messed part of my new theory up. Let me do it again. So the guy drives up there at 4:04, but he sits there and waits because he sees Zaina go into the kitchen, and he sits there and waits in his vehicle. And then it's about 4:10, he finally goes into the house, and he thinks that Zaina is alone at this point. So he knows where Zaina lives because he's been stalking and monitoring the house. So he goes around the corner, and just as he's about to get to Zaina's room, I guess what we're missing here is the part where somebody says, somebody's here. So I gotta work on this a little bit more and put that in, but I think it's almost there. I just gotta figure out that part. Someone's here. Could that have actually just been when the DoorDash guy got there? That somebody said, hey, somebody's here. But I don't think Zaina would say somebody's here with just the DoorDash guy, because she would have known that he was coming. She would have said, hey, the DoorDash guy's here. So when would Zaina have seen? Well, it could have just been right shortly before that, I guess. Maybe she brought the door. Okay, here, let's do it this way. The killer's in the back of the house up on the hill there, sees the light in the kitchen. Zaina's in there, and the lights are on. Then she
what if Ethan
see, that doesn't make sense because they're attacked for. Wait, what now? What if Ethan had already left? Somebody's here. Oh, no, I don't think that's how it worked. Yeah, you mean maybe he's heading down the stairs or something, and then he... Yeah, you got to work in the somebody's here comment. Without that, it's really simple to do. Would you be interested in... not really, Scott. I have a website called like Cell Mapper, something like that. I mean, if you have something that's really simple set up, you could send it. But as long as it's just like a website or something, I don't want somebody else's map that was made. Yeah, I do 7 shows a week, 3 hours a day. Yep. Today's been 4 hours and 25 minutes so far. I was just thinking that when she might have brought her DoorDash to her room at 4:10, but it would take longer to eat. No, that would have been like 4:04. And she brings the food to her room. It could have even been like 4:03, but he's watching up there and sees the light because he pulls up at 4:05 and he sees Zaina in the kitchen. And she brings a plate. After unloading the DoorDash bag onto a plate, she brings it to the room. And then her and Ethan eat maybe it's something like this. Her and Ethan eat the food, and then she's going to put the plate in the kitchen while they're leaving. And so it's not really what they thought right here. It's right when they're exiting the door. He thought Zaina was going to be alone. The killer did. So he comes around the corner, or just before that, like they're making their. Let me show you on the map right here on the video. Hold on, let me go upstairs. So right here, they're walking like this together, and right here, she sees somebody. Hey, there's somebody here. Right there, and they're just still right here, and then this person comes at him, and then Zaina sort of goes back to the room, and Ethan encounters him right here. They battle, and then he falls on the ground there. Then he goes into the room and stabs Zaina. Then he exits the room, goes upstairs. This makes sense right here, don't you think? That's very similar. I just needed to get that one little part in there. I don't know. You don't have to agree with it or not. I'm just trying to make so that all the elements fit without it being weird too. Do a vote for what, Rebecca? I don't want to do a vote. I don't even know what you're talking about. All right, so the killer gets up on that high area behind the house up here. He gets there at 4:05. He looks down and sees Zaina in the kitchen down here. And that's when she puts the DoorDash bag down and puts some food on a plate. Then she walks back to the room, and it's only like 4:05 there. And her and Ethan are in the room, maybe eating that quick little burger or fries, whatever the hell they got. And, it's like, now it's like 4:11 or so, 4:12, he's got to go. They were just going to eat it really quick. So then he heads out the door with her, and that's where we get to around in this point. Right before this, though, he comes off the hill at about the same time. It's just coincidental, but he sees that she'd left, so waited about 5, 6, 7 minutes. He goes down. He comes through the kitchen, which is right through this, right around the corner there. And they're leaving at the same time. And just when they get right here, Zaina goes, "Hey, there's somebody here." That alerted that person. Then he came right at him, and there was a battle. Because he might have just been going upstairs. In this scenario, he could have been going upstairs to attack Cailean, but then had to adjust after hearing that. Or, that sort of makes sense with the somebody's here part. Then he goes right at him, right over here, attacks Ethan first. He collapses on the ground, then attacks her and thinks they're both dead. Then he goes, after killing them in here, this is exactly how it would be, right? He tracks them down. He goes in there, kills both of them. They're on the floor in here. Then after that, he exits there. And now he goes up to where he really wanted to go. And he might know at this point that Cailean isn't in that room because he's been watching from outside. But he might not know because the lights might have just been off and he wouldn't be able to know. So he goes in there and checks for Cailean. She's not in there, but the dog is. Then he shuts the door behind him. Then, right here, he goes into this room and he sees both of them in there and attacks both of them and kills them. And in this attack, his sheath goes on the ground here. Okay, then he goes down the stairs. After going down the stairs, forget this room right here. I have him go into this room, but this is where Dylan was watching later when he's leaving. So I'm going to go back to this area because after coming down the stairs right here, let's back up a little bit so it can look like that. So he comes down these stairs, he walks out like this, and he's just walking. He's about to leave, actually. He's going to be heading into the kitchen. He hears moaning again and whining coming from over here, and he goes, "Oh my God, she's still alive." Walks over here, and then he says, "It's okay. I'm going to help you," to calm her down, to keep her from screaming when seeing him. Again, because she's probably losing blood and just doesn't know. And then he goes in there and then he finishes her off. Maybe she was on the bed, picks her up, stabs her, then throws her on the ground. There's a thud. Then he exits right here and then he takes a right. This door is open slightly at this point with Dylan looking at his bushy eyebrows right now. But he takes a right and then exits. So that right there took into account of everything. The 4 o'clock, you have the DoorDash, you've got the 4 o'clock sound that could be the DoorDash or whatever. We just don't know. So when he comes back down, when he's leaving, it would just be like this. So right to the right here is the living room, and then he would just exit through the kitchen and out the sliding glass door. All right, there you go, everybody. That's the one right there. That's the one that I'm going to have to stick with for now because it keeps all of the little elements put into it. And it was 4:17 when he's coming down the stairs. That's why you hear the whimpering and loud crying or whatever the hell it was. Ethan's dead. Zena's barely alive but making sounds, and he goes in and finishes her off, and that's who said that word, the wording that I just mentioned. Anyways, that's all I got. All right, let me get back to this one right here. That's just a theory, and that's having Ethan and Zena killed first. The other one would just be something like the other theory that makes sense too, right? Like, here's the DoorDash. Zena goes up with the DoorDash. So I'm going to speed it up. So Zena goes upstairs. That's the front door. Shuts the front door with their DoorDash. Goes upstairs. And then goes into the kitchen.
Chewbacca?
Perhaps. Or...
Chewbacca if you want me to.
I heard of a new site called Reddit.
Reddit.
They solve mysterious like the Amelia Hindenburg plane crash, the missing Earhart baby, and the Lindbergh blimp crash.
Yeah.
Seems pretty amazing.
Oh, they're freaking great there. I mean, Reddit's, wow. So, like, she comes up with the DoorDash, but what if the DoorDash was literally more like 4:05 because it was around approximately 4 o'clock, right? So right when she's doing the DoorDash, she's walking by and she glances to her left and sees footsteps going up to the third floor, the feet on the landing, the middle section there, and then says, "Hey, there's somebody here." Right? And then goes back this way. And maybe the killer did just go up. I mean, it would be... I agree with what Sarah was saying. Because if that was said, why would the killer wouldn't ignore that? He would have then went and made sure that the people who saw him here weren't alive before he went upstairs, right? So actually, my first theory is the one that makes the most sense to me. That he attacked Ethan and Zena first. Then Madison and Cailean. Then came downstairs and finished off Zena, and those are the sounds that we hear. That's why there's crying, and I'm going to help you. The killer was just trying to calm her down so he could kill her. I mean, it's pretty sick, but anything else on this one? Alright, so it's believed that Ethan was headed out to go back to his frat house and encountered her perp as he was leaving and was stabbed immediately as the perp was surprised by Ethan. Zena, what is that really saying? Okay, Zena was close behind and was surprised by what had happened, and then the perp and Zena had an encounter. The perp grabbed her arm with one hand while pushing her back into the room, while he stabbed her with the other, hence the defensive wounds bruising Zena had. The perp continued looking for his target, which is believed to be Cailean. He went upstairs and didn't realize that Maddie would be in the room bed and killed her too. So basically Ethan, Zena, and Maddie were collateral damage. They still believe it was some sort of stalker or someone rejected, etc. This is way before the affidavit, everything. Cailean and Maddie used a campus service they have available to them to get home from the food truck. It's a service app that's available to all students there. It was an Uber, or it wasn't an Uber or anything. I don't know that, and asked my friend about it. Okay, and then it says, they cannot make any arrests yet as they are waiting on DNA results. And that was accurate too. So they do have DNA. They are not releasing this information to the media or public, so the perp isn't alerted and have an opportunity to run, or maybe that's what they mean by the... If they had put out the information on the search warrant, he wasn't in town. Hey, here we go, everybody. Here we go. That article that we read earlier makes sense if you think that he was already on the move when the warrant was issued, and had that information been learned about by Brian Kohberger on the run, he would have then became a danger and a menace to society because he's not caught yet. So maybe that's what, when they wrote that, that's the scenario that was happening. There you go, everybody. You know, after a little bit of time, that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Huh? She wasn't sure who they were. I did ask her if that guy that they arrested there a week or so ago, that guy had nothing to do with it. Whomever found Ethan did see blood. So the person who saw Ethan on the ground did see blood, but they thought maybe he had fallen, tripped, etc., and hit his head or something. They didn't know he had been stabbed yet. Everyone's silence is because they are protecting those that could be witnesses or under suspicion. They also had to sign a non-disclosure. Another thing, Hoodie Guy is one of their friends. See, this is before all that. You know, he was at the bar and they left at the same time. He walked with them but was broke and didn't want anything to eat. He stayed back away from them because he didn't want to be obligated to pay for their food because he's a guy. Their ride showed up and then he left to return to his house or dorm. As it was close by, he went on foot and wasn't driving. Okay, you guys. Well, there you go. That's the information right there. I should get a hoodie myself. Yeah. All right, so what I'm going to do tonight is, instead of give out a prize, I'm going to give out 5 memberships, okay? So here we go. I think it works over here, right? I got the hold on. Let's see who wins it. Huh. How come it's not letting me do it? Oh, wait, no, that's right. I have to go to the video itself. That's so dumb. Just a second. I'm going to be talking. Just a second. Oh, there we go. And oh, there it is. Oh, yeah, over here in the chat. And now it's sitting there. Membership gifting. And here we go, everybody. So thanks all the freaks for supporting the channel that allowed us to give 5 memberships out tonight. There we go. Gifted 5 memberships to potential freaks and trolls who are like, ah, crap. Was gifted a member. So Lil Miss No Name, Crystal Say So, Lindsay Aranki, Jeannie RM, and Katie Lady. Hopefully the people who really wanted them got one, but sorry about that cost. You didn't get one. Yeah. Yeah, and thank you, trolls, for helping allow me to get more members. Because every time you guys trash the channel, the better it does. It's weird. It's Sorry, Mary B. Awkward. You'll just have to come back on another night. So a lot of generous freaks out there or give away memberships all the time, and you know, hopefully you'll be one of them. I think I've given away 15 or 20 so far recently. I didn't know that I had the ability to do it myself, but you have to open up the actual video on the live stream and go underneath it and go to the chat, and then it shows up. It doesn't show up on my control panel area. Probably not. Oh, nice, Matt. I don't know who the hell you are, but hey, cool. Never heard of you. And I don't get to read most of the chat because I'm actually presenting and talking about things. So I'm not like other YouTubers who spend their whole time staring at the chat and commenting on what everybody's saying the whole time. And like, is that really what you're looking for, people?
Smiley face.
Honest to God. I mean, this is what I want to know. Do you guys enjoy... I mean, I know you feel like you're part of something, but what are you really getting out of when there's a channel And the people just sit there and go, oh, yeah. Congratulations. To get the trolls are like pets. Yeah. I'm broke as a hoodie guy. Oh, yeah. And you just kind of go through all the chat, the whole show. I mean, I'm actually talking about things and trying to figure shit out, you know, and reading articles and taking phone calls and whatnot. I don't have time to sit there and stare and see every single comment. Now, the super chats, yeah, they pop up. They're colorful. There's music playing. I can see them. Hey, trolls, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Thumbs up. Here we go. Thumbs up. Thanks, Jennifer Oram. Here we go.
Hey trolls, don't forget to hit the thumbs up with all of your accounts, or else.
Thumbs up. Okay, could everybody hit that like button for me really quick, though? It's not hard to do. You just take your thumb out. Unless it's like a Fred Flintstone thumb, it might be hard, but you just press the damn button. It's one of the easiest things there ever was. I don't want to, Gray. Well, then don't do it. It's no big deal. Hey, thank you very much, Jersey 815. Well, yeah, I like the walking taco. That's always been cool. Well, cool. I'm glad you like it. Nadia the Great. What are you? Let me ask you something, Nadia. Are you reincarnated? And if so, did you come from Alexander the Great? Or were you a shoemaker living in a poor village making pennies a day? And I ask that because your answer will tell me if you're telling me the truth. Gray, you said that the other day, too. Remember that when you... Yeah, I know. Yeah. I love that Grady Judd's face is everywhere. He's my sheriff. Yeah, I use Grady Judd all the time. Let me play all those for you. I know I'm repeating myself, trolls, but here we go again. Here we go. Here's one of the Grady Judd ones.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
Here's another one.
You know, that's just one step above stupid.
Here's another one.
Have you lost the last 3 brain cells, or do you just have cabbage for brains?
And here's another one.
Did you hear what I said?
And here's another one.
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
That's my favorite one. And then this one.
5 brain cells, 4 aren't working.
And, and then this one over here.
This guy may be like the dumbest person on the face of the earth.
Right. And now I'm wondering if he's talking about me, because he's saying this guy. Is he talking about me right there? I think I need to time that where somebody is just absolutely dumb as a box of rocks, and then I can just go.
This guy may be like the dumbest person on the face of the earth.
Like that, right? Okay. This guy also says something really cool.
Evil can never be dead enough.
That's another sheriff like Grady Judd. Evil can never be dead enough. Gotta love that. I have tried to get a hold of him before. I wonder if he would laugh if I say, listen, I've got these on hold. Listen to this.
Come on, man. What's wrong with you?
But here's my favorite one, Grady Judd. Listen to me. Listen to this.
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
That was a weird case because it was like this homeless guy that murdered another homeless guy in the middle of a swamp. And he said, there's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp. Referring to his courageous officers who made their way into the swamp. And I gotta tell you, man, if there really were mosquitoes the size of bald eagles, those guys are freaking heroes, alright? There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp. Oh, come on, FL Songbirdie 20. Why do you say that? Come on. Well, where do I get to the... I don't have any way to go back and say anybody's name now. They got rid of the little button for that. What the hell happened? Wow. That's crazy. Let me try that. Let me just get out of here and see what happens. Alright, gonna open up YouTube. Well, Lilith Kane is gonna be over here in a minute. So, thanks for trying. Sometimes you gotta watch this show instead of the other one. Let's see. Yeah, they got rid of the monetization button for me to go be able to thank anybody after the fact. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, wait, maybe that's it. Earn. Oh, yeah, supers. Oh, there we go. Wow, they totally changed it. They changed the button to earn. It wasn't called that before. Okay, cool. There we go. All right, so thank you to Cairo, my obligatory super chat. Kelsey 206. Grade made me do it. Mahari Buchanan. He made me. Just kidding. Philly Sport 820. Gray is the best. Period. Thank you. Annabelle Stealth. Trish Escaped. Ba ba ba. B. Tim. Oh, these must be from earlier. No, this is this one. And then Nicole. No one can make me spend my money. The Mike D Experience. Paying for entertainment while helping others through you. Well, thank you so much. You gotta love Mike D, everybody. He's a pretty cool dude. Tracy A. Candace Hill. Norm Scanlon. Loretta Reyes. I have lost my free will too. Kelsey 206. Geez, Gray, stop twisting my arm. Reviewed Popcorn. Amanda Johnson. I think people are insinuating they left over from the struggle. Oh, the scars. Amanda Johnson. Heart-shaped box. 8675309. Oh yeah, hold on. Let's do it again.
When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange who you are and what you're gonna be. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Sha-na-na-na-na.
Sha-na-na-na-na-na.
I can't do it again. It was pretty good, though. Mary Lou just has that down, don't you think? Pam Cakes, Nenny C, Kevin Schultz, Kathy Shiflett, Pancakes, Tosh, Hasher Stark, Stereophonic Mom, Keb Photography, Nicole, Cindy Leon, The Mike D Experience, Vegas Andrews, Scott Holland, Ashley Grohosky, Holly Rose, Deep Diver, Jennifer Oram, Jessica Schubach, Georgina Stoliker, 8675309, 8675309, Beagle Mom, Holly G, Two Girls and a Pressure Cooker, maybe? Mary Crossley, The Mike D Experience, SSP 134, Georgia. Scott Holland, Jennifer Oram, Beth Endicott, Cairo. I heard of a new site called Reddit. They solve mysteries like the Amelia Hindenburg plane crash, the missing Earhart baby, and the Lindenberg blimp crash. Seems pretty amazing. Kim Christian, Jennifer Oram, 8675309. Hey trolls, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. And Jersey 815. Yep, there you go. Right, well, there you go. Awesome. Scott Holland said, this letter deserves the something running in the background. You're reading this for the new subs and freaks that don't know. All right. Well, there you go, everybody. Thank you very much for being here tonight. We gave away the 5 memberships out there to the 5 lucky potential freaks. Hopefully no trolls got them. As a matter of fact, if you're a troll out there and you're available to get memberships, you're a piece of crap. Okay? Just letting you know. But of course you knew that already. I smoke mids? What's a mid? Hey Patrick, S503, what's a mids? You sound like an idiot. You meant meds? Whew. Wow, yeah, I know that you might have heard it in your head that you thought it said hey, Gray smokes meds. Okay, but man, you wrote mids because that's how your brain interpreted it. Wow. Crappy weed. I don't even know what the hell it meant. I really don't give a shit. Thanks for the great content. Hey, no problem. Larky. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching tonight. I hope tonight, Sarah Cailean was on earlier. Absolutely amazing. It was a cool conversation. If you missed that, watch that show. She is an expert in criminology and also a homicide investigator. So there you go. You should go check it out. All right. So thank you all very much for watching. We'll see you guys later. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And thanks for all the support you guys give me on a nightly basis. Really helps out. We're going to be sending, from the income from the channel, I'll be sending out another large donation in the next few days here. So, and that's all because of your support. Thank you very much. Oh, let me just check one other place. I didn't check. What the hell? I got 17,000 emails in here. What's going on here? Oh, God. By a troll. Oh, God. Oh, my lordy. I don't know who this is sending me this shit, but I'm definitely going to... Hold on. Yeah, what's going on with this? Some morons out here. Oh, let me put them on. Let's see. Gotta block them. There we go. And we'll just go do a shift delete thing. I don't know. I got like a million emails in here. I gotta try to figure out how to do this. Hold on a second. Wow. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on, you guys. You gotta hear something. Let me see if I can say it. Okay, here we go. So I got an email from the same person who sent me the email about the bushy eyebrows. Okay, you guys ready? So we're just, if you're still here, you're lucky, unless you're one of the idiots that already checked out. Are you guys ready? Let's see. I spoke to my friend again regarding Dylan. She told me the story again and explained it a little more. It's more earth-shattering. But she said Dylan did say she heard noises, voices, crying. Wait, it's nothing earth-shattering. Sorry. But she said Dylan did say she heard noises, voices, crying, and at first she didn't really think anything of them, but then it got to where she realized something was wrong. She froze in fear, as we all know, and closed and locked her door. She was waiting for someone to come out and say something, or for Maddie and Cailean to come down. She was petrified and didn't want to see what had happened. And then you might say, why didn't she call? Because you're just not really thinking. You're just kind of... she kept waiting, and no one called out, and no one came downstairs. This is exactly how I'm picturing it. She also didn't know if someone may still be in the house. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what it feels like. It started getting late, and she got to the point she couldn't wait anymore, and that's when she called her friends. She said something to the effect of, "Something happened here. I don't know what, but please come and see what happened and bring everyone." God, this is isn't this what I told you guys? I mean, like, this is exactly what I said happened. That she was petrified in fear and just sat in that room, and then later in the morning she finally tried to get people to come over and check it out. This is exactly what I said. I mean, a long time ago, too. You know, don't mean to toot my own horn, but let's see. She said something to the effect of, something happened here, I don't know what, but please come and see what happened and bring everyone. So whomever she spoke to agreed. She gave them the code to the front door, so she was still in the room, and then they came over and discovered what happened. My friend said that Jack D asked Dylan, "Why didn't you call the police right away?" She said, I don't know. I was scared. I don't know what to do." That may not be the exact quote, but somewhere along those lines. These things told by Dylan was in the very beginning of the investigation, because within a few days of the murders, Dylan and the other surviving roommate, Bethany Funk, were put under police protection, and no one was allowed to talk to them or come visit them, etc. She told me they took their cell phones, laptops, and internet access. There were police posted outside their home, so my friends hasn't spoken to her since. Okay, they're also protecting Jack S. That's the hoodie guy, and she said they even took down his mailbox because of death threats, with people saying things like, we're going to do to you what you did to them. That's why Dylan and Bethany weren't heard from or even spoken to the victims' families. Yeah. So this person does write and says, I am questioning the order of the murders too since the affidavit, but I got the information from the friend, so let's see. I think I have texts from the friend starting the 15th and 16th. I emailed you several days after with the information, so maybe in the beginning that's what they thought, and additional info and evidence came along and changed it. Right, so definitely could have changed since then, right? She also told me that the owner of the house, at the time of the murder, to get whatever surveillance equipment they seized back, but they were told they couldn't get it back because it's now part of the evidence. So that kind of tells me that something pretty important on it. Her stepdaughter is not moving back to the house. She's going back to the sorority house. Also, she didn't know anything about the DoorDash delivery. Yeah, well, there you go. Boom. Well, that was pretty interesting right there, right, guys? Yeah. So look at that. You're right at the end of the show. You got more information there. It all made sense. And yeah, the order, still don't know, right? Like, we're just kind of guessing based on information. And thank you for sending me that out there. All right, so yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. Little bombshell right there at the end. Yeah, somebody hit the subscribe button. Sub. Let's get it up to 100. Well, it'll be there. Don't worry about it. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. And as always, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now.
Thanks, everybody.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, the projector, I'm a certified human lie detector. I'm gonna get you on a spot. You try and fool me like I'm a projector. Transector is my nectar. Professor Griggs gonna give another lecture. Try and collect the freak connector. And I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool the and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector.
Hey, thank you, Grizzly Spider.
With all respect,
remember,
I have no
agenda. I'm a pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without a wonder. And in the end, I'm gonna send you on a messenger if you're a true offender.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody, for watching the show tonight. I really appreciate it. Good night, everybody.
Let me guess. Jay!
That's not what I was going to say, Gray. I was going to say, Jay.
That's exactly what I said you were going to say.
No, you didn't. You went, Jay. I said, Jay.
Oh, my God. You sound like Vanilla Ice when he said. No, mine goes like this. Dun 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 dun, and yours goes dun 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 dun. Yeah, I know they sound exactly the same. What the hell are you talking about?
I sound nothing like Vanilla Ice. He went, I stop, collaborate, and listen.
That's not what I was saying. Oh, forget it, man. You are absolutely crazy. All right, you guys. Wow. We'll see you guys tomorrow. That was 5 hours of show there. We'll see you tomorrow. And again, be safe out there.
Goodbye, everybody. Jay.
Good God. What have I got myself into?